Hello, Keith Keller, Melbourne, Australia. And today we have the start of a brand new show, brand new series called Repurpose 3030. This will be an 8-part series that'll take us probably just about up to Christmas. There'll be a couple of fun, funky bits as well. But basically, we're going to be doing a lot of discussions about repurposing your content. And what I'll do is I'll just sort of riff for a couple of minutes to get us started. I'll then play a few songs maybe, and then we'll come back with a few of our special guests with some discussions. Just jump in if you want to take part. We actually are live streaming now to LinkedIn, YouTube, and Substack, and that's pretty cool. We're doing 3 at once. And so the replays will be available on YouTube. LinkedIn and Substack are a different kettle of fish. I'll tell you about that in a minute. There's been quite a few changes since I did my last show. If you do want to take part, please, you can actually take part, ask any questions you want here in the chat. Unfortunately, on Substack, the chat doesn't appear on my Restream feed, so I'll go and manage that manually. I'll just go and check that in a minute. We are, as I said, restreaming to YouTube and LinkedIn, and now the new kid on the block is Substack. I'll make a new graphic for this soon. And I would love, just for fun, to get to 100 comments for the show, and possibly even 100 replays. Let's see. If you do want to know what's going on, you can go to Where is Keith Today for all of the goss, all of the information, all of the really interesting ideas, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We're basically twice a week until Christmas now. We're going to have all of these really cool shows. Hello, Joshua. How you doing? I was listening to your show yesterday where, you're a brother for another mother. It's very, very cool how you're doing your shows, and I'll get you up on stage too if you're free, and we'll have a bit of a chat about that. So what we're going to talk about today is the idea of, it's November 2025. You've probably got hundreds of pieces of content you've done already this year, dozens at least. And the question I'm asking is, well, which of those pieces of content has performed the best for you? Now, I would really, really encourage you to know that, and it's not hard to find this stuff out. But, I've done hundreds and hundreds of shows already this year, and I know exactly which ones are working and which ones aren't, and on what platforms and what format. And so this is the challenge for this first show, Repurpose 3030. The first show is setting the tone. We'll do 2 shows a week until Christmas now on this topic. The second question is, how can you repurpose your existing content? If you have really killer shows from earlier in the year, it seems a shame to let them sit there. It seems a big shame. So how do we repurpose content? We're going to talk a lot about that. I'll tell you about how I do it, and then we'll actually ask all of our guests how they do it. The third question is, where can you share your repurposed content? Which other places? Where else can you put this material? Where else can you put it? That's pretty interesting. And the fourth one is, how can you repurpose your content using Substack? Now, Substack's going to be a big play for me next year in 2026. I'm going to master Substack. I'm nearly at what I've got 60 subscribers there now. I'll talk a lot about Substack today. And with that in mind, I've even written my own theme song about Substack. And this will give me a chance to have a bit of a break, send the file to all the guests, and warm the room up. I believe Substack is going mainstream. It's got 50 million users. It's been going since 2017, but I think we've now hit what we call early majority. I'm going to call it and say that Substack is going mainstream, and with that, I've sort of constructed. I won't say that I've written, but I've constructed using AI a song that really hits this right on the head.
Substack is going mainstream, from a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. A spark in the feed. Creators find their voice and create at light speed. We are scaling up without selling out. Gentle souls finding an audience without having to shout. It's still very early in these golden days. The crowd's not too loud and the tech will amaze. Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. The challenge is the balance to stay true and free. Hold that creator's soul in the storming sea. 2025, the year we decide how far the wave goes, how wide the tide. Can we scale the mountain without losing the art? Every platform's heartbeat starts in the heart. Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name.
Oh, isn't that cool? Substack is going mainstream. Now, this is an incredibly important discussion because you may not know this, but I have been restricted 3 times in 3 weeks. This new algorithm that LinkedIn has created quite a furor with a lot of people, and I have been restricted 3 times in 3 weeks. I've so much so that I've actually worked out a hack to get back in. And I've got to be honest, it's starting to piss me off. So Substack is going mainstream is a very important point to me because I might have to stop doing my shows on LinkedIn because I just keep getting suspended. Now, I'm pretty sure I know what's going wrong. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, but I know that the rules have changed and I'm starting to adjust, but maybe not fast enough. So what I'll do, I'm going to actually while I wait for a couple of people, I really, 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 really want to talk about the different ways that we can use the different sites. And it's a very good time in history to talk about this because, look, it wouldn't surprise me if I have to go away from LinkedIn. I might have to go because I keep getting suspended. I keep sort of having to make it up as I go, and it's getting difficult. So I'm just preparing for the idea that I might have to do my shows on other sites. I'm trying to adjust to the new algorithm. It's very, very, very different, and I got to be honest, I don't like it. And that's okay. I'm just one person out of 1.2 billion people. I'm sure they don't care what I think, but I'm not sure I like it. Lachelle, I'd love to hear your thoughts. First of all, welcome to the call. And this is the new format. We're going live onto Substack, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The replay will be available on YouTube. I would love to hear your thoughts on the new algorithm, if it's affected you. And if not, that's okay. What are you doing with your content?
Well, thanks so much for having me, Keith. And I always love getting caught up with what's going on through your shows that you host. I have not been very active, actually, over the last 3 weeks. I've had a lot of things going on with the family. And so I haven't been as active. So I haven't even noticed anything new or different with the algorithm. So I'm excited to be here and listen and soak it all in. So that's kind of my thoughts right now.
No,
I
that's
have been I what I do is when I'm not active on a platform, I just go through my notifications and check my direct messages. So I have been in that format for the past, again, like about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's
Hmm.
very, very interesting you say this, and we'll talk about LinkedIn bit later if you're not affected by it, because it is a bit of a boring topic, and I don't want to be a whinger, but I am directly affected by it, and I've got to be honest, I'm not happy. But there's lots of other good things to talk about. I've worked out a way to send my shows to Substack, to YouTube, and to LinkedIn, and I'm very excited about that. And they're all three of those are working. What I'd really love to talk about is have you throughout the course of the year found out which is your best performing content? Do you know what type of content works best for you, and can we learn from your example?
For me, I do best with lives, actually on camera. I have been doing those for some time now. And what I use them for is like I'll go live and then engage with people after the live. So sending it to people directly or, thanking those who signed up to join, but maybe they didn't watch
Yeah.
live, that type of thing. I feel that any content that you put out there, sometimes just putting it out there is not enough.
No,
Usually,
this is exactly
yeah.
what we now talk about, isn't it? That you know,
Hmm.
you're a very good example. I don't do face to camera videos, but I know they're very popular. Once you've finished your show, can you give us some examples and some good tips on how you repurpose it so that it gets maximum reach? Because I know you're very busy, so whatever you're doing is a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, what I do is send it to people that are in my network. So, people that are in my private mastermind groups and things like that, I send it to them. And then I like how different platforms give me clips. So I take those clips and, put them up on like YouTube or sometimes I do it like on Instagram or Facebook Reels and things of that nature. Um, it's a work in progress. I'm constantly always recording some kind type of content, but I may not get around to doing it like immediately. I do have a regular email that I do every week. I have a VA who does just this one email to my list. And so there are times that I will take that content and add it to my emails. So, it's a number of different things that I do, but I feel like, it's not a one and done. It's something that you have to curate. And depending on the content, it's different content will appeal to different segments of your network. And so that takes time to really figure out who is going to be interested in what.
Yeah, I was very, very, very inspired to do this show. I've been planning it since September. And I came up with the phrase repurpose 30/30 because I noticed that a lot of people were doing content and constantly starting from scratch to do new content. And it occurred to me, what about if we worked out the content that's working and reuse it, repurpose it? I've been very inspired. I took the whole of October off to research all these cool sites. Like I'm doing an 8-part series on this. I'm so into this, and I worked out that there are so many great ways to reuse the content you already have, which has done. You've already done 60% of the work. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
do this little extra bit. And I want to share exactly how I'm doing it, and I want everyone else who comes on the show to talk about this. So I've worked out for the next 30 days, I'm going to do 2 shows a week. On a Tuesday, it's called Repurpose 30/30. On a Wednesday in Australia, it's called Repurpose Recap. Right. So that's
Mm-hmm.
Mondays and Tuesday nights in the US and Canada. So the original show is on Monday night. The recap show is for all those people that said, "Oh shit, I forgot." Because I get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these. I get a lot of those emails. "Oh shit, I forgot, Keith. Is there a replay?" Well, I've got you in mind. I'm doing another one. So I'm going to do Mondays the show, Tuesdays the recap, and I'm going to do 4 weeks. Right, I'm just going to pull it apart. This is going to like be a master class, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we'll create 8 sessions. Right now, so I'm doing 8 sessions over the course of 4 weeks, 2 shows a week for 4 weeks. That in
Mm-hmm.
itself will be very valuable. But what I'm very excited about to get up to my 30 pieces of content in 30 days is I'm sending it to LinkedIn, 1, YouTube, 2, Substack, 3. 3 times 8 is 32.
Mm.
Actually, 3 times 8 plus the original show, 4. 4 times 8 is 32. So if I do 2 shows a week on Restream and send it to 3 additional places, every time I do a show, it goes to 4 places, right? For the same
Mm-hmm.
effort. For the same effort.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put it to, so that's my goal. Then over the course of this 30 days, I'm actually going to ask people, well, what next? What do you do? Do you do YouTube shorts? Do you do little TikTok versions? Do you write a blog? What
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, I'm very excited about this. And you know this, Lachelle, I write songs.
Yeah,
I got to be honest, I've never heard of anyone writing songs for their own radio show.
that's
So
good.
So I've got 4 songs lined up today that are indicative of what we're going to talk about. And they're in the wings. They're sort of sitting there on the C drive. And when the conversation comes up, I'll play that song and it relates to the content. Like the words are relatable. They're not just funky songs you're going to sing on a Saturday night. So I just played one. Substack is going mainstream. 50 million users. Now you'll love this. You'll love this stat, Lachelle. Of the 50 million users that Substack has, 5 million of them have paid subscribers. 10%. Now that's a good number because the
Mm-hmm.
average subscriber pays $5, right? So the reason I love Substack is Substack is a site that allows you to create content and for people that love your content to support you. Right? That's the direct link. You don't have to sell them anything. You don't have to coach them. You don't have to go to their house. You don't have to do events in the city. You do the content anyway. And people say, mate, I love your content. I reckon that's worth $5. Right. And some people are making, thousands of dollars a month now. That's how they make their living. That's how they pay. That's how they feed their babies. right? So Substack is just, I think it's reached a new level of sort of appreciation, and I'm really, really honing in on this. We've got 4 people listening on Substack. If you want to have a chat, jump in. We can actually have up to 4 people and 8 people on stage. But these are the 4 things we're going to actually talk about over the course of the 4 weeks or the 8 shows. Firstly, what is your most popular content, your best performing content, right? And we need to know that. The second thing we need to know is, how can you repurpose your existing content? What are you doing? And everyone's gonna, have their turn to tell us this. As I said, I'm repurposing by sending it to 3 other places. I'm writing songs. I'm using Google Notebook to provide audio summaries. Americo knows a lot about this and has a show about this on Friday. Where can you put your repurposed content? There might be additional places that you can put this content. I'm very fascinated by what other people are doing, because we can learn from each other. And the really big one that a lot of people may not yet know is, how do you repurpose your content using Substack? Because Substack is the big new player in the market, and a lot of people are not familiar with it. And I want to launch here. So one of the things I love about you, Lachelle, is that you do things on the show. Like, you're doing things as we're talking.
Right. Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I want to do these live shows. The fact that life gets busy, but for the time that we're here, you're right here.
Yeah.
Let me try that now, because I'm here right now anyway. I'm not going to wait until the kids go to bed and there's nothing on TV, and then suddenly there's 100 other things to do. I'm in the zone now. And I really appreciate that. That is your style. I love that, because
Well,
you
and I
get
think that's the most important thing about being in community, because there never is the right time to sometimes do something. And so when you have community, you kind of have that confidence to, oh, let me just do it now.
yeah,
People are available now. If I have any questions, I could get them answered now. And you really don't feel like you're doing it alone. So that's really the thing for me that has been a game changer around doing things in community, because if you don't, you'll just overanalyze, you'll talk yourself out of it. It's never good enough. But when you do it with community, it's like, you're just trying it. It's just an experiment. It's
that's
you
right.
know yeah, not a
And
lot
there's
of
no right or
pressure.
wrong answer, because you go, oh, look, what is it again? Can we work through this? And you've been on our shows where you and people on the show, we've created miracles on the show in the moment, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really inspired by this. So, you were mentioning that you haven't really noticed a difference in the LinkedIn algorithm. Are you familiar with the fact that it's changed? Have you heard that story?
No, I'm just no, I've been here. I went over to the front because I didn't see you. Where'd you come from? Bus lane?
Oh no, yeah. But we were still in there like 6:10 and stuff.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm picking up my daughter. Can you say hi?
Who's that?
This is Keith.
Hey, it's Keith in Melbourne, Australia. I'm, the random Aussie person.
Yeah, so
We just
this is my youngest daughter, Hope. The one that knows you and talks to you all the time is Faith, and today's her birthday. She's
wow.
turning 14 today. Yeah.
You know,
So
you
this is
know,
Hope.
this is actually very, very relevant. You may not know this, but Australia has now instigated that under 16 rule
Oh, okay, for the phones and stuff.
for social media. Now, I hope I
Oh,
know.
okay.
Luckily, you don't live in Australia. Well, luckily for you, you don't live in Australia, because if you are under 16 in Australia, you cannot use social media in Australia. Now that
Oh, that's a good thing. I don't see anything wrong with that
Well, there's a
myself.
lot of discussion about it, and the European Union is very inspired by what we're doing, and I'm very proud that we're leading the world on this. I've always
Hmm.
been very proud of Australia because we lead the world on a lot of things. So, yeah, they decided. I don't know how they're going to retrograde it, but if you are 16 or younger, you cannot sign up for a new social media account because
Okay.
they're saying, I don't know because I don't have kids, but they say that the kids just can't concentrate in school anymore because they're always on their phone, Snapchatting or TikToking,
Yeah.
and they're not learning
True.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that works, and that probably won't come in their hope. So you don't have to worry, but it definitely is here in Australia. But
Well, for us, they have it where, they're not allowed to have their phones or any smart watches or
My people
uh,
have smartwatches.
they do. I mean,
You can use them.
this was the first year that they are working on that. So I'm sure it's going to take some time before it really, gets, accepted or
yeah,
embraced. I guess would be the
it'll
word.
take there'll be a few teething problems. And look,
Yeah.
as I said, we've got 4 people listening on Substack and some people here on LinkedIn and also YouTube. If you've got some comments about that, a slight diversion, the idea of whether or not your kids are on social media or whether or not you have friends that can't concentrate because they're always on their phone, and that doesn't necessarily relate to under 16s. I see couples at a restaurant spending $100 for a meal and sitting on their phone between meals. I'm thinking, well, why'd you go? Like we go to a cafe so that we can talk while we're waiting for our latte. Otherwise, why not
Yeah.
just cook at home?
It's true.
And then I mean, it's common. Like it's really common. Like I mean,
Yeah.
2 people spending $100 for a meal, and they're on their phones for every other second other than when they're putting food in their mouth. And I said, well, why
Yeah.
didn't you just get takeaway?
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
So
And so, this makes it really, I mean, for people who interact with people, it makes it so easy for you to stand out with your brain because a lot of people, they text, they don't actually call. There's a lot of opportunities for engagement that a lot of people don't capture because they have programmed, so to speak, with this new way of communicating, which, um, I'm not really a fan of myself. But, for some people, they really enjoy being able to Snapchat or, some of these other formats instead of just picking up the phone and calling somebody, you know.
yeah, this is
So you
actually a
stand
very
out when you're able to do that.
this is actually a very good segue into the new LinkedIn algorithm because the new LinkedIn algorithm, I don't know a lot about it, but I do know a bit about it. The new LinkedIn algorithm does not want fluffy nonsense posts on LinkedIn. No mirror selfies, no pictures of
Mhm.
you eating pizza. Right? What they want is they want substantial, thought provoking articles written by you or and comments on those articles written by you that are thought provoking and deep. Now, that's not going to suit me because I don't like writing. So, the new version of LinkedIn may not suit me. And I've already written a breakup song. Actually, this is a very good link to it. I've already written a breakup song because I've been suspended 3 times in the last 3 weeks by doing what I do, doing these shows, right? And I was suspended last night. Luckily, I got my account back. I was suspended last night, and I've been preparing this show for 6 weeks. And there I was at 10 at night thinking, I've been preparing this show for 6 weeks, and now I've been suspended, and it's not going to go. So I created this song. Actually, it's a very good timing. If this is the way you are going, I might just go away. So I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to it's a very, very, very good segue into the new algorithm. I'm personally very unhappy with the new algorithm, but
Okay.
I'm going to adjust to it. And this song is indicative of what my friends are thinking. Have a listen to this.
If this is the way you are going, then I may just go away. Maybe someday, without knowing, we'll meet again halfway. You said you're chasing city lights. I prefer the quiet nights. You want a roller coaster ride. I'm cruising easy on the side. No tears, no drama show. Guess we both got places to go. If this is the way you are going, then I may just go away. Gonna grab my keys, start rolling. Wave goodbye to yesterday. No hard feelings, just a breeze dancing out of your memory. You got dreams and neon signs. I've got beaches on my mind. We're both riding our own way, just not right in who we stay. No need for second tries. We've got our own blue sky. If this is the way you are going, then I may just go away. Turn the music up, keep going. Let the rhythm lead the way. No hard feelings, just a tune. I'll be humming under the moon. So here's to the roads we'll find. Two stories and separate lines. No goodbye that feels too long. Just another catchy song. If this is the way you are going, then I may just go away. I'll be smiling, sunshine showing. Life's too short to stay gray.
Oh, if this is the way you were going, I may just go away. After when I got suspended, Lachelle, you can't really do anything. You're just sort of stuck there, and you're sort of in limbo. And so this has happened to me 3 times in 3 weeks, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that's a sign from the universe that I needed to go away. I don't know. I might be able to adjust to it, but the algorithm's pretty brutal, and my mate just doesn't like me. So I'll get my account back, and it is working on LinkedIn. I would love to know what people think of the new LinkedIn algorithm. I'm very unhappy with it, extremely unhappy with it, and I might get banned just by saying that. And that's
Now,
probably
so tell me, what is the reasoning for it being suspended? Is it the type of content, how frequently you post stuff, or what's the deal?
yeah. Where are you? You're breaking up, or you're going in a tunnel.
Okay, can you hear me now better?
Yeah. So
Okay.
So the new LinkedIn algorithm wants you to post more and engage more and use in essence, less trickery. Right. So they want less of, what's your favorite pizza topping? Do you like Hawaiian? Or are you more of a traditional margarita guy? Right. Well, what has that got to do with business? Nothing. It's just a trick to try and get engagement. So what LinkedIn wants, and I don't know for sure, but I'm trying to interpret it because I've been suspended 3 times. I'm really, really trying to work out what I've done wrong. I think what LinkedIn wants is it wants you to do long, thoughtful posts, and it wants you to write long, thoughtful comments. Now, neither of those scenarios suit my personality. I can't do them. I don't want to do them. That's not the way I think. I don't like writing long-winded posts. I don't like reading long-winded posts, and I don't like writing long-winded comments. But I think that's what LinkedIn wants you to do. I think. I got to be honest, I don't know. Because I can't get an answer out of anyone about what I'm doing wrong. I would love to know what I'm doing wrong. What do you think, America? What do you think of the new algorithm? And what do you think is the essence, separate to what's happening to me? What do you think is the essence of what LinkedIn's trying to do?
The essence is simply LinkedIn is trying to clean up its own ecosystem. It has been riddled with hacks. It has been riddled with professionals, or those who call themselves professionals, selling hacks to help creators and job seekers beat the system through vanity, through impressions. And personally, I think it's well overdue. It's going to take a little getting used to, but I think they're doing their due diligence to kind of and address a lot of the noise that they're hearing about how dissatisfied most of its membership have become over what LinkedIn has turned into.
A lot of people are complaining, separate to the algorithm itself, that LinkedIn has become a sort of a pseudo Instagram, hasn't it? It's become this like place of rubbish and really trite content, hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has, and it's time to clean that up and bring it back to what LinkedIn is known for. I think some of it is also self-inflicted. When last year they pushed and amplified video, what we started to see was creators and members just simply uploading their TikToks and their Instagrams. You'd see the watermarks. So if you're opening the floodgates to that kind of, I don't want to say riffraff or garbage content, because it has its place and it has its audience. But if you're just going to copy and paste, then it kind of defeats the purpose. We talk about, meeting your audience and your community where they're at and understanding. It's no different if I were to copy and paste, and, truth be told, I've tried it. Copying and pasting my LinkedIn content into other platforms, it doesn't work. You have to kind of fit inside the platform and understand how to show up and how to understand visually and how you have to present yourself. It isn't a cookie cutter solution, and we were just getting inundated with it.
I think that's actually a very good point. It's very obvious to me that LinkedIn in the last 12 months has been inundated with people who love Instagram. And Instagram has its place, 3 billion users. I don't personally love it, but a lot of people do. And the LinkedIn, to me, started to look like Instagram was, for all the reasons I didn't like it. And when you approach people about it, I remember we had this conversation. People are saying, well, mate, you've got to post every day. I've got to think of something to do. I'm in the city anyway, and I am having a pizza. I'm not lying about it. I am having a pizza, and I am in the city, and I am spending time with my bestie. Yeah. Well, that's good, but that's not what LinkedIn's for. LinkedIn's not for posting pictures of your besties in the city having pizzas. I don't know. I don't think that's what LinkedIn's for.
Well, and
Please.
there's the other side of this conversation, where many people, whether it was through misunderstanding, they hear a lot of creators say, you know, bring your authentic self. People want to see you outside of this business persona. Some people took it to a whole new extreme. They were bringing themselves in, you know, their PJs, and just really too comfortable for what we were accustomed to. And maybe it's a generational thing. And now you got to cater to the masses, as we find ourselves on the outside looking in. Perhaps that's what people want. But personally, if you're asking me, I don't think it has as big of a place as it has had in the past. Sure, allow for it, but push it out in moderation. So the new AI is going to understand and read our content, our profiles, to interpret who they put in front of us, who aligns with us, and vice versa. So if we participate in that banter, we're going to be exposed to more of that banter. So from
Of
that
course, yes.
right?
You get what you get what you
You
focus
reap what you sow, right?
on. Yeah. I love this because one thing, and I was examining my own behavior, and I decided strategically this year that I wanted to get my head around Gen Z, what you would probably call Gen Z, people born after 2000 that had a job, have a job now, left uni, have a job, maybe even have a couple of kids. And I'm thinking, I can't understand Gen Z in the same way that they probably can't understand us. Right? And I'm thinking, I want to get my head around what Gen Z thinks. In fact, I remember doing a post, getting my head around Gen Z. And they think differently. And that's good. But I'm not taking pictures of myself in my PJs. I mean, I love pizza, but I'm not taking pictures of myself eating them. And I don't think that's what LinkedIn wants either. So that they are starting to kick back on it. And I'm really fascinated what people think. Hello, Curtis. Hello, Fenneld. I think that's how you'd say it, Fenneld. Well, we don't know each other yet. You're happy to connect on LinkedIn if you want. But Curtis, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think of the new LinkedIn algorithm. Have you been affected by it? Have you had any problems with it? I've been suspended 3 times in 3 weeks, so I'm obviously doing something wrong. And I've got to be honest, I'm a bit sick of it. Yeah.
Let's pick up on that, because last time you and I spoke, you had been suspended twice. There's a third time now.
Yeah, last night. Now, this is really important. Like, this is incredibly important to me. I have been promoting this series. Today is the first show. I've been promoting this series since September. I had the whole of October off to research all these great sites, which I will talk about over the next few weeks. And then last night, about 10 o'clock, I'm just checking my messages, and I was suspended on LinkedIn for a 3rd time. And I'm thinking, the show's on tomorrow. I've been promoting this for like 6 to 8 weeks. I had this really sinking feeling in my belly, almost cried. And I'm thinking, I can't do this. I can't promote and put my heart on the line and then be suspended like the day before. I can't do this. Luckily, I worked out a way to get my site back, and the site is going live on LinkedIn, and I'm really proud of that. But it's also going live on Substack and YouTube as a backup.
Now, you mentioned not being able to get a response. So when you get notified, it's the same generic message?
It's the same generic message. But I have got a hack, and that is they have this little contact us button in a drop-down box, and I've just said, I have been suspended. I do not use automation. I don't know why I'm doing what's happening. Can I have my account back, please? And magically, at this stage, they're allowing that response. So I suspect LinkedIn probably knows, well, okay, there must be a bit of a generic hack here. Maybe people are a bit upset. But I mean, I'm running a show. I'm putting my heart and soul in the line. You know how much I put into these shows. I put hours and hours and hours of research into these shows, and I try all these different sites, and I'm really into it. And then to think the day before, I just get suspended and the show can't go ahead. That's just ludicrous. It's like being locked out of your own house. And I got to be honest, I'm getting a bit sick of it. And I'm actively seeking alternatives. So the show now goes to Substack, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I'll keep going with LinkedIn as long as the show keeps working. But if the show I'm not going to bash my head against the wall. You can lead a horse to water. I want to do the shows here. But if I keep getting suspended for being myself, and I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not doing anything immoral or illegal or suspect. I'm just being myself. Maybe they don't want me or people like me. And that's okay. I get it. They just don't want me because I'm just being myself. And I'm not going to turn into someone else. I don't want to have to turn myself into someone else just to do a show on LinkedIn. I am myself. And I've got a funny feeling that, maybe they just don't want creators. I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but they certainly don't want creators like me. And, no one wants to go somewhere when they keep getting kicked out.
That is, I got to tell you, from what I know, there's a good chance that some of it could be glitching from the AI. It's probably recognizing your speed and efficiency as some form of automation. And it'll probably work its way out because it has been numerous times in a short period of time. It's not as if this has happened over the last 12 months. This has happened over the last few weeks.
And look, I'm very open to the idea that it is the glitching. I'm very open. There's two things going on here. One is LinkedIn has 1.2 billion users, and I have zero ego when it comes to this. I don't mind if they don't want me or people like me. That's okay. I love metal. I love Star Trek. I'm a vegetarian. If they don't want vegetarian metalheads that love Star Trek, then that's okay. We will find our own place. I'm not going to stop watching Star Trek or listening to metal or eating vegetarian food because LinkedIn says they don't want people like us. And I feel a little bit excluded. It might be an error. And possibly some people at LinkedIn probably need to hear this because I'm just an average guy in the street doing a show because I love doing it. And if I turn up to the studio and they keep getting locked out, I'll just go somewhere else.
How many connection requests did you send out yesterday? Sorry, I interrupted.
No, this is a very good point. This is a very, very, very good point. What I've done, I'm pretty proud of this. I'm very surgical, I use your term there, with my strategies. And what I have decided up until yesterday is that you can send 100 invitations to connect per week. I know I'm pretty busy. So what I did was I locked out a 6-hour block on Mondays and I do it on Mondays. And I'm thinking, okay, well, there it is. I'm probably doing too much in one go. So yesterday I sent out virtually 0 connection requests, and it hurt. I'm thinking, hang on, this is my connection day. I've been doing it every week for a year. This is my connection day. Right? Now I can't do it anymore. And okay, now what am I going to do? I'm very logical with my time, but okay. And I even said to you, look, I reckon I've got a 30% less chance of getting 30% less chance of getting suspended now because I didn't send out any connection requests today. Hardly any. Right. And I might even be doing it in my sleep. So I probably sent out 10 maybe. But you can send 100 in one day. And maybe that is too many in one day. I got it. I got the message. So I'm now just sending it out spontaneously as I think about it. It doesn't suit my personality, but I'm playing within the rules. So maybe that's not it. Maybe that's not the reason I'm getting suspended, because I got suspended again. Right. So I didn't send out any invitations to the show, hardly any, because I've already got 170 people. This is a very good example. Like, I've been promoting this show since September and in the whole of October. And here we are on LinkedIn Live, and we've got 3 people online. 172 people said they'd come. They never do. They never do. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they forgot, so I'll send them a message. But that makes sense. You said you wanted to come. Here's the link. Why don't you come? And if you don't want to come, don't tell me you're going to come. You know, just don't tell me you're going to come. Just don't answer. Don't get my hopes up. So there's a lot of dichotomy going on here. 170 people say they want to come, but they never do. Where are they? So, and is it wrong to say, look, you said you wanted to come? Am I bugging you by reminding you that it's on? You said you wanted to come. I'm just reminding you that it's on. I think
So
that's service.
here's how I look at it, and I know you and I share slightly different thoughts when it comes to the on-demand content. Those who share their intent, I assume that intention, and it's not so much of an assumption as it is the results that I see in real time. I've now defined those RSVPs as intent to participate. There's no guarantee that the participation will be live. They will consume the show's agenda. Some of it will be live and some of it will be through replay. And then, of course, some will be forgotten because bigger priorities kind of stepped in front of the event. But that's how I kind of break it down.
I love what you're thinking here, because I tell you why. I have now got to the point where I realize that not everyone can come live. And this puts me in a very difficult position because my show is live. And if I don't have guests, I don't have a show. So it's not like they can just come and hear me talk for 3 hours 2 weeks later, because if they don't come, I've got no one to talk to. Right? So what I've done, I'm very proud of this. I've started writing little songs. And actually, I'll play this one for you because we wrote this sort of together relatively. You had said last week that visibility is a long, long tail, yeah? That
Yes.
getting visibility doesn't happen overnight. So with that in mind, and I'll tell you how I do this. I actually send a little request to Perplexity to say, can you write a catchy song called Visibility is a Long, Long Tail? Right. And it came back with this really lovely chorus and verse, chorus, bridge, middle 8, double chorus. And I thought, okay. Then I just punched that into Suno and it says, can you make this sort of sound like, I don't know, country song? Or maybe could you make it sound like the Scorpions? 1989 Winds of Change, right? And I play around with it, and I usually do about 6 versions. And this version is the one that I thought worked best. Visibility is a long, long tail. Not every idea has a paper trail. So this is a good segue into what I'm going to try and do for all those people that can't come live. Because if you don't come live, I don't have a show. It's a very different show to the standard guest talking for an hour thing. I've got a very different style. I might have to adjust that style, but this song sums up what we're talking about here.
Visibility has a long tail. Not every idea leaves a paper trail. You just can't fake what time takes to unveil, 'cause visibility has a long, long tail. They run in circles through the noise and static, chasing lightning that don't stay. Everyone's screaming for their moment of magic, but I'm okay with the slow play. Little things stack when the spotlight's off. It's a marathon, not a coin toss. Visibility has a long tail. Not every step leaves a paper trail. You can't fake what time takes to unveil, 'cause visibility has a long tail. Some nights I feel like I'm caught in a scroll, buried deep in the overflow. But every echo finds its home in the quiet. I start to grow. Patience hums like a hidden song. Even silence is singing along. Visibility has a long tail. Not every step leaves a paper trail. You can't fake what time takes to unveil, 'cause possibility has a roar. All the unseen hours, the clicks that fade, they build the truth I've slowly made. When the moment comes, it'll feel brand new, but it's built on every shade I've been through. Visibility has a long tail, and I don't mind if I set sail through quiet seas and gentle gales. Yeah, visibility has a long tail. Let them shine, let them fade, it's fine. I'm still carving out my line. Every slow reveal, every breadcrumb trail. Visibility has a long
Well, you're listening to KKFM in Melbourne, Australia, and visibility has a long, long tail. That was a very interesting insight you had last week. What was the idea there, Americo? This idea that some of this stuff takes a time to build up, doesn't it?
No, absolutely. It takes, not only takes time, takes effort, and our energy. And I think it's just human nature. We want the shortest path to success. And sometimes even the shortest path takes time. And I was quoted was it last week or maybe a couple of weeks? And I went on and I said, you either got to take the time to do things right or make time to do it over.
Yeah, I love this. I just love this. Yeah, it's so important. And we just saw AC/DC on the weekend, right? Went in the city state overnight. They started in 1973. Right? They did a gig at the MCG, Melbourne Cricket Ground, 100,000 people. They've got like 28 albums and they've been going 50 years. I mean, it's a very, very, very good story. The first couple of times, no one came. I went through the first singer only lasted, less than a year. Amazing, just amazing. Now we saw them, our heroes, AC/DC, Aussie band, maybe the best band in the world. Their actual Back in Black album has sold 45 million copies.
Wow.
Back in Black, 1980, 7 years after they started, different singer. 45 million, second greatest selling album of all time, Aussie band, right? But the first time they were playing at schools and fetes and skating rinks and parks, and they were playing on the back of a truck, right? And we've all seen these stories. So I think you're right. Visibility has a long, long tail. We probably need to slow down. I love doing this show. I just love doing it. So I'm just going to keep doing it. Lynn has some great stories to tell. Hello, Curtis. Jump in if you want us to talk and tell us your story about the LinkedIn algorithm. Lynn has just got back from a week on a cruise ship. How are you doing your content, talking about the idea of repurpose 3030? You had some initial, I think, issues with the initial issue with the signal. You couldn't actually do lives, but tell us the story. How did you do it? What happened to you? Tell us, set the tone, and how are you creating your content, and what are you doing with it?
Yeah. So what I ended up doing is I could make video with my phone. Of course, I could do that and then upload it to Facebook. Facebook ended up being my go-to. It just worked. I don't know why. So my go live I did test it on Substack, and it's really funny because I have the draft from it, and it's like it's frozen, but it's maybe I could release it just for a good laugh. But anyway, I couldn't get it to work on Substack like I wanted. So I don't know if maybe there was a different way I should have gone about trying to do that. But what worked were just posts, and I took a lot of pictures, and I wrote what was going on. And then on Instagram, you can take those pictures and sort of turn it into like almost like a video, or clips. It's really easy, kind of does it for you. So that was my go-to, and really for me it ended up being good because I got a lot of good response from it. So it worked out. So
no, it's very important that we have this discussion, because I think you had like about 4 megabytes a second on the land, on the water. So you didn't have any bandwidth to play with. So you couldn't have done lives. There's nothing you could have done. You just didn't have the internet speed where you were. So what you did is you took a whole heap of photos, knowing full well that you could repurpose those when you got into a zone. And video takes up a lot of bandwidth. Right? So you were very, very clever. And so you used Facebook and Instagram, which are very visual platforms. And what's been the response with those?
Oh, very good. Well, and two, because, we've got Black Friday sales that are coming up. So a lot of people are wanting to know more about that because they're waiting on those Black Friday sales. So that's been it actually, this was the timing was really good because, it does coincide with upcoming sales. So, the interest with people who've never sailed on Princess was really good. So, that ended up working in my favor, I think. And I did do a little live this morning to talk briefly about that on Substack, just to kind of see where that would go. And I happened to notice, and this is just from today. I was looking at my stats, and so they're solidly up, really good. The views are up, so that's good. That's a good thing.
I actually really love this discussion. So what I'd love to know, let's go to this slide. What is your best performing content? Now, there's two parts to this question. One is, what style of content goes well, and where do you put it? So you go first, Lynn. What is your best performing content?
Anytime. Well, I notice if I'm talking and going live, it does well. And I really have not been doing a lot of that. So that content does well, and consistency, which I admit I have not been very consistent, except for on this trip. Consistency was way up, and it really proves in the stats it does make a difference. So America, Keith, you guys, you're right on this. You're on the money when it comes to consistency, and that really does show. So my goal is to just be more consistent. And starting this week, I'm just going to take time out in the mornings to do more lives.
Now
even
that's
briefly.
it's a really, really good point, because one of the things I've decided is that I'm going to do 2 shows a week for the next 4 weeks, which is 8 shows over the next 30 days. And I'm going to send it to the original place, which is Restream. And I'm then going to send it to 3 other places: LinkedIn, YouTube, Substack. Now that means that those pieces of content get 4 lives each time. And I'm really, really pushing to see what happens here with these shows, which sites go better, which format goes better. What do you think, America? I'm really interested in what types of shows, what types of content you've noticed works best for you.
Well, it's hands down live events. They perform well, but I think they perform well for a reason, because I'll take the time to build awareness prior to the show, and I'll do that across 4 platforms. I'll do Substack, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And then the 4th is nextdoor.com to bring local businesses and local community members into my 3 ecosystems, the Substack and YouTube and LinkedIn. The live event, some perform better than others, but we're working on based on what we're learning. But still, today, hands down, the live event performs extremely well. And then runner up are the short clips. They do extremely well, because it meets those who consume short form content, short form video content, and it gives them a moment in time from that live conversation, opposed to having to listen for those golden nuggets or for something that might be relevant to them.
Yeah. Well, this is such an important point, because yesterday someone who's very big on ESG here in Australia said, "Oh, mate, I heard you did a show on ESG. How'd that go?" Well, I said, well, the person who knows a lot about ESG doesn't know a lot about live streaming. So my friend did the show, but he doesn't know a lot about ESG, and the people that listen to him don't want to know about ESG. So there's a bit of a dichotomy there. You've got to have this sort of synergy between what you talk about and an audience that wants to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and this is why these live streaming events are so important. And I've sent him your details, but the point is that ESG is not really a very sexy subject. And
it's not a very sexy subject for the general public. But if you put enough time, effort, and energy to bring the right audience to that event, then you probably get a better outcome. But you can't turn that around in a week. You're going to have to massage the subject, and get it in front of those who find it valuable, those who find it interesting, and those who find it important to them.
And so I suppose with the idea is, what is your best performing content, given that we're talking about that exact topic? The best performing content is the type of content that your clients want. Right? And it's not necessarily a generic discussion. Some clients want video. Some people want to talk about ESG. Some people want to talk about cruising. Some people want to talk about the latest Rode microphone, right? So the content is relevant to your audience. And why I'm really fascinated by this is this series of shows, which will go for 8 weeks and will be sort of like a masterclass over time for all those that want to listen to the replay, is, well, okay, say you've got this content that you do at once and it's great and you know which one's the best. How do you repurpose it so that you can give it an additional life. This is really the essence of what we're talking about. What do you think? What are the things we can do to repurpose our content to give it extra life in different formats?
So when it comes to live streaming, your event shouldn't end when your event ends. And that's where I will lean into, as mentioned, the short clips, but more importantly, find those community members who may have an interest but want to read about it. So I will create a blog, and the blog will find its way into Substack as well as LinkedIn articles. Or depending on the timing, because I do a monthly newsletter, it'll find its way into my newsletter. So now I have audio. In some cases, I have video, and I'll have written content. So it really broadens and gives me breadth where the message is the same, but it's meeting people.
Yeah. It's
in
very
place.
important. Like, you've
Yeah.
got to remember that people may be interested in the message, but the format, like we've chatted, live shows. I get it. Not everyone can come to the live show now. It's live now. I'm here now. Come now. Well, not everyone can. So that's why I'm sending the videos to YouTube deliberately, especially because YouTube is very reliable. It works every time. I don't get a lot of listens there, but it's a reliable format. Everyone's heard of YouTube. Not everyone can access it. Substack's a pretty new one, and LinkedIn's very unreliable at the moment for us, as we're getting used to it. Had a bit of a chat about this yesterday. A lot of people still haven't heard about this new algorithm. Do you want to just talk a little bit about it? We did a monster show last week, and it's a good example of how you repurpose it. We did the show Friday from 11 until 12. It was actually from 11 to 1. It was so good. It went 2 hours. We talked a lot about what it was, and that was great if you went, but you've repurposed that. So just set the tone for how that show went and what you've done with it.
Well, not only did we repurpose it, but I think you and I have recognized here's an opportunity to create a series that will help people come back, pick up where they left off, and learn along with us, because we just scratched the surface. So for those who are unfamiliar with the name it's been given is 360 Brew. It's an AI generated algorithm. It's dynamic in nature, and it's listening, reading, and understanding our profiles, our contents, and it's doing this like a human would. And it's pairing up our profile and how we have our profile designed and written. It's looking at our headlines, our about section, and how we contribute in comments, how we post, and making sure that our post resonates with our area of expertise. So it really wants, or LinkedIn really wants us to stay in one lane, maybe, veer off to a small tangent and talk about relative subject matter, but they want you to be known as a subject matter expert in one core area, and talk to that, post to that relevance, demonstrate your expertise, and stop just fluffing around and trying to wake up an algorithm to get visibility.
What pizza do you like? You like a wine? There's really, like, I saw this really interesting post. I've been dying to tell you about that. The actual question, very dynamic question, nothing to do with business, very dynamic question. If you had a choice, if you had to choose, would you go forward in time to your 80th birthday and get $1 billion? Or would you go back to your 25th birthday but have nothing in the bank? If you had to choose, like, if I had to choose, I would say I'm not doing either. As Rush would say, as Geddy Lee would say, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice, which I think is from the Trees. I think it's from the Trees, or is it Free Will, from the song Free Will? If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. But when I saw that post, I said, well, that's just absolutely what LinkedIn wants to get rid of. That says nothing about anything. It's just one of those really sort of cutting questions that go, well, wow, no, I got an opinion on this. Okay. And he got like thousands of votes. Going forward 80, okay, yeah, no worries. You've given up your whole life, but you get $1 billion in a bag. Or you go back to your 25th birthday, but you got nothing in the bank, have to start again. I mean, not ideal. But this is what he wanted to do. And I think that's what LinkedIn's trying to stop. That really doesn't help anyone, does it?
Well, I don't know that it will stop it completely, but it will reduce it. I'm starting to see, so first degree connections who are posting the slop that we refer to, they're no longer getting thousands of likes. Their comments are slowly starting to come down. There's still high engagement, but here's where people might get fooled. Hey, it's still getting good reach and good engagement, but because the algorithm is understanding that, hey, this is where you want to spend your time and your energy. So you want to be known for an active person who contributes to this slop. It'll continue to feed you slop, and you will continue to be visible to those who consume slop, and you will never be recognized as being the expert in the field that you want to be recognized for.
Yeah, I love this. And with this in mind, I wrote another song. This is going to be my style. I'm going to intersperse songs. So just imagine you're listening to the radio, but this is a real song. But what I've done, I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of my ability to do this. It's mostly computer generated, but it does take some human effort. I've actually created a song called "What Is This New Algorithm?" And it's picking up on some of the keywords we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. But what I did was I superimposed it over this 80s techno vibe so that the music is somewhat indicative of what the algorithm feels like to us. Like an algorithm is a very unnatural thing, right? It's very techno. So I want you to imagine you're in this very dark room in 1983. Deep hatch mode is number one.
Yeah.
And and they've written this brand new song called "What Is This New Algorithm?"
What is this new algorithm? It's reading between the lines. No more noise, just precision. Matching hearts and minds. What is this new algorithm? It's the rhythm of what we do. If you post with passion and purpose, it's gonna find you true. Check my feed this morning, things feel brand new. Posters shuffled, stories I never knew. No more chasing likes, no clickbait thrills. It's 3x stick goal, redefining script. 150 billion thoughts in play, learning what we mean, not just what we say. Every word, every vibe, every clue, all filtered through the lens of you. What is this new algorithm? It's reading between the lines. No more noise, just precision. Matching hearts and minds. What is this new algorithm? It's the rhythm of what we do. If you boast with passion and a face, it's gonna find you true. Scatter your thoughts and you'll fade away, but stay in your lane to avoid foul play. It craves clarity and names inside, meaningful content that shines so bright. They switch the system overnight. What is this new algorithm? It's written in between the lines. No more noise, just precision. Matching hearts and minds. What is this new algorithm? It's the rhythm of what we do. If you post with passion and purpose, it's gonna find you true. What is this new algorithm? It's reading between the lines. No more noise, just precision. Matching hearts and minds. What is this new algorithm? It's the rhythm of what we do. If you post with passion and purpose, it's gonna find you true.
Yeah. Okay. That,
Oh.
that sets the tone. So, just in case you don't know how I do this, I use perplexity.ai to write the lyrics, and then I punch those lyrics once I've okayed them into Suno, and then I create usually about 4 or 6 versions, and I try to somehow make the words indicative of the music. And in this case, we're talking about this techno thing. So, mate, I think, Merico, you've got a much greater understanding and probably a little bit more leniency. Given that I've been restricted 3 times, I'm a little bit on the back foot on this. Like, I'm not that happy, but I'm trying to be positive. But I mean, it's really inconvenient.
All right, so let's jump into that here for a second. If we were to take what we kicked off and talked about last week on the show, we know that there are game-changing benefits, some would say, and some would say hindrances. But let's take some of those key points. We know that the algorithm wants to recognize us for our expertise and industry positioning. What are you best known for? The social audio specialist, right? And if we were to look at your profile, what can we do differently to help you optimize your profile?
Good. This is very, very good.
Right.
So let's work on what LinkedIn wants us to do, what we want to do, and how we can change what we've been doing. Because you did this really cool poll that said, okay, now that we know that LinkedIn's algorithm is coming and it's here, what are you doing? 1, are you going to change your profile to position yourself? Are you going to post less but engage more?
Yeah.
Are you going to do nothing at all? Which 7% said that they would do nothing. And then about 20% said, what's the new algorithm? I've never heard of this. So if you take that exact poll, what's the difference between positioning yourself on your profile as the expert, and what happens when you engage more and post less? There's 2 questions.
Right. Those are two great questions. So if you want to position yourself, and to take this with a grain of salt, but here's an opportunity. You're the global social audio specialist. But if you put that marketing twist, what problems do you solve? And for what community are you solving this for? I toyed around with my headline, and miraculously, I have a whole new population persona, call it what you want. I have a whole new group of people that LinkedIn is now suggesting, hey, this person, we're suggesting that you two connect because there's alignment. So I'm now being offered suggestions through LinkedIn. Here are more audio sound specialists, podcasts, editors, authors, writers. So everyone who I say I'm looking to help, industries I'm looking to help, and I guess the subject matters in which I'm speaking, it is now recognizing, all right, so you do live streams, you might see some alignment with this podcast production professional.
Ah, bingo. So what the algorithm wants to do and what LinkedIn wants to do as a result, they want you to connect with cool people. Like they're trying to put you together.
That's right.
They're like a business matchmaker. So if you know exactly what you do, and more importantly, who you want to talk to, like your friends at Effie, they contacted me today actually, and so they've this is a very good alignment. Here's a site called Effie EFFI.xyz, coolest URL ever. Effie.xyz. They contact me and says, "Hey, we can see you doing this. We want to have a chat about this? We've got a new live streaming site." That's exactly what LinkedIn wants to happen, doesn't it? It wants
That's right.
A new live streaming site up to a new live streamer. And then there's the marriage made in heaven. That happened today. So it must be working. Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely working. I'm seeing or experiencing fewer profile views, but the profile views I'm getting are more relevant to what I'm doing.
Bingo.
In the past,
relevance.
right?
That's what
It's all about relevance.
Yeah, yeah.
In the past, people were dropping in, taking a look at my profile because my content popped up in their feed, or they may have seen a comment, but they had no ties, no alignment, and I could do little with those views. Now it seems that everyone who shows up, although in comparison to what I was getting, it's sparingly, but each view has a meaning, whether it's a connection, whether it's a potential client, collaboration, partner. It has a lot more substance that I can sink my teeth into.
And is that what you mean by post less, engage more?
That's right.
But tell us a bit of a strategy here. This is good. We could probably do 10 shows on this. But tell us how to engage more and post less, because that feels counterintuitive to me. I just want to talk, right? I just want to do it. But they want you to engage. They want you to write.
They want you to engage. Yeah. So this will work extremely well for creators and communities of small sizes. So let's say hypothetically we have someone who has 5,000 followers. So your reach is limited because if the platform is going to push your content out to 2 to 5% of your 5,000 members, then you know exactly where your starting point is. But if you start following and engaging in larger influencer type of content in communities that align with you. So in my instance, if I want to be recognized as a live streaming or event marketing specialist, and I start hanging out and contributing through comments into those larger profiles and those larger communities, I'm now exposed to their numbers and not just my community members. So you're going to get more reach by putting out and engaging with thoughtful comments. So you don't want to just insert an AI generated comment, "Hey, great insight," and leave it at that. Why is it great insight? Why is it important to you? Or why isn't it important to you? A lot of people are reluctant to share their disagreeing thoughts, but disagreeing thoughts spark a lot of great conversation.
This is actually, they're doing us a favor in a way. It's like they're like a wise teacher teaching a year 7 student. I know this doesn't make sense to you yet, but one day you're going to thank me for this. Like having that mum and dad chat. One day, Keith, you're going to thank me for this. I know you don't agree with me right now and you think I'm a mongrel, but I actually think that you need this. And so it's actually prompting a lot of people, because I don't know if you were on the call when I was chatting to Lynn about this and to Lachelle, but I noticed during 2025 that LinkedIn became a lot like Instagram. And it became quite uninteresting as a result. There was nothing to learn. It was just fluff and bubble and froth, really. And I stopped watching it because I wasn't learning anything. And I think LinkedIn wants now to set itself up, and it will reward people who create meaningful content and who take the time to make meaningful comments. Now, both of those things are very difficult for me. So, how do you do it? How do you create meaningful content? And most importantly, this is the hardest part for me. How do you create meaningful content, meaningful comments? How do you do it? What's your thought process with commenting?
So stick to expertise over popularity. Don't say something because you know people are going to get a chuckle out of it and you just want to be popular, or you want to be the clown of the group. Hit with your thoughts, but hit with precision. Share your expertise as to why or why not what you've read or what you're participating in works. That will drive smarter audience engagement and smarter audience matching, because those who align and resonate with those comments or the post, whether it be a post or whether it be a comment, it's going to match you with like-minded people who are going to visit, who are going to follow. So truth be told, I haven't aggressively, since September, I haven't aggressively been reaching out and doing outreach and trying to grow my community. I'm being very surgical once again. So anyone that is being suggested by LinkedIn, those are the people that I'm reaching out to. Hey, I'll engage in their post that LinkedIn is suggesting. I will then reach out to them with a personalized invite. Your profile came across my feed recently. Your recent post about XYZ topic really caught my attention. I think there's some great alignment. I'd love to invite you to be part of the community, my network, and explore how we might be able to support each other.
I love this. And one of the things I really need to get my head around, this. Do you think that LinkedIn wants you to stop DMing people? Because I personally do not want to comment in the open. I just do not want to. I prefer to say, hey, that was a great post. I really think that this is a great little alignment for us. Why don't we have a chat? I want to talk to people individually. I don't want to share my wares on, in the open. I personally don't want to do that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to adjust to that desire of LinkedIn. But do you think that LinkedIn wants us to stop DMing people?
So I'm not speaking on behalf of LinkedIn. I'm speaking purely on behalf of myself and what I believe the system wants. This is social media. It wants you to be social on a public level. It wants you to express your expertise in the public domain for all to see. Where DMs come in is where, through a comment, if the author engages, likes, and responds, that's when the DM has a place. Hey, thank you for engaging and responding to my comment in your recent post. I'd love to connect, or I'd love to jump on a call. I'd love to invite you, whatever it is, whatever your intention is. But if you front load it, you run the risk, and it's not going to happen all the time, but you run the risk of being spammy and self-serving. And there are people who just have nothing else better to do than to report our DMs, although with good intentions. They were reported as spam. I don't know this person. And if that is happening, it's happening without your knowledge, and it could be what's triggering the suspensions.
I think it is. I think that's the point, because I love DMs and I don't like commenting. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Lynn. We're talking about the idea that LinkedIn wants you to comment in the open, separate to making posts on your own. It wants you to, most sites do, most sites want you to comment in the open on other people's sites. And I think that they're trying to dissuade people from DMing people, which might have some value. But what do you think? Do you prefer DMs, or do you prefer commenting, or do you do a bit of both?
Well, I like to comment if it's something that I think is interesting, or if I want to just simply add my support to someone, within my network. But I think there's value in commenting too, because it also it sparks conversation, and I think that's how we do connect on social media, isn't it? I mean, we comment, and we that's how we engage in DMs. I've only DM'd, within my network. I don't usually, at least that I can think of, just randomly DM'd. I usually just stay within my network for that.
I think you are right. I think that I'm an anomaly in the sense that I personally really, really, really dislike commenting. Like, off the charts dislike it more than doing the lawn or doing the tax. It's just not my. It's just not my persona. It's just not who I am as a person. And I just prefer DMs. I just prefer to say, I'm talking to you. This is about you, and I just want to talk to you. I don't really want everyone else to hear what we're saying. I don't want that. But maybe that's an old-fashioned model. Maybe I'm penalizing myself by doing that. And maybe a lot of people think, well, Keith, I know you like to send DMs, but can you stop sending them? I'm getting too many bloody DMs, Keith. Can you stop sending them? I know you're excited, but can you stop, please?
Do an experiment and see. Just try it out for a week and see what happens within your content. If you start commenting more on things, just test it out. See what happens.
Yeah, I love this discussion. I'm sure I'm not the only person in the world, but let's have this discussion. How do you successfully comment? Now, that's a little bit like asking someone to boil an egg, right? Once you've done it, you've done it. I don't like commenting. So, I need my hand held here. What makes a successful comment? How do you do it? Americo, do you want to tell me what you do to make these comments successful? How do you do it for someone who can't do it or doesn't want to do it?
First, I would suggest strongly that for someone who doesn't like or needs to get comfortable with it, make sure it's a subject matter that is passionate, that you're passionate about. So don't just go randomly responding and engaging when you have zero interest or little interest in the subject matter. So because that's going to position you to articulate yourself with some level of authority.
Yeah.
Right. So that would probably be one of the first things I would say. Look at or consider looking at the engagement patterns from other comments within that feed. And perhaps you don't necessarily jump in and respond to the author directly. Perhaps it's engaging with someone else who commented in the feed. And that could be a strategy to kind of get your feet wet. All right. I don't want, or I don't feel that I'm ready to put myself in the presence and engage with the author. But someone who commented in the author's feed, here's something that resonates with me. So there's multiple ways to approach it. But the simple answer is just do it. Stop overthinking it and just, get over it in terms of what you're uncomfortable with. Because just like with anything else, there will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a perfect time. So just do it, and it'll grow on you. Because you will get the dopamine hit when people start acknowledging your comments.
Yeah, I can see your point. It's very difficult. Like, it's not my thing. I'm not sure I'm going to do it. I don't want to. I just don't want to. But what's very important is that we need to understand what LinkedIn wants. Not about me. This is a discussion about what LinkedIn wants us to do. They want you to write really, really thoughtful articles, and they want you to make really, really thoughtful, long comments. And no, I'm not going to do either of those. And that might mean that LinkedIn isn't for me. It might mean that. And I don't mind that. I don't mind saying goodbye. I'm starting to sense that I might need to say goodbye to LinkedIn, or maybe use it as a third wheel. But I've never been into long comments, and I've never been into long written posts. And I'm not going to start. I know myself. I've been around the block a few times, and that's handy to know. And I think the reason I'm getting suspended is the sorts of things I want to do. And I want to share this really cool story, because I came from Twitter. Right? I loved Twitter. Short, sharp, in the moment, do it now. I love that. When I was in high school, maybe 12 years old, we lived in a town that was on the border of Victoria, which was where Australian rules football started. Don't ask me to explain the rules. It's a really difficult game to explain. In my opinion, really stupid game, but I can't say that because I now live in Melbourne. I'm probably going to lose a testicle if I say that in the public. But it's a really stupid game, right? But I lived on the border town where they played rugby. All the other states played rugby. Melbourne, Victoria, and also other states later adopted this game called Australian rules. Right? Very difficult game to explain and play. So when I was 12, living in this town, they said, "Oh, well, we play rugby here. Do you want to have a go?" It's a pretty simple game. I'm going to throw you the ball, and if there's no one in your way, run. And if there is someone in your way, pass it to the next person. It's a very simple game. Right? And I was on the wing. I was pretty fast, and I was getting a lot of scores, touchdowns. Very similar to American football. You get 6 downs in rugby, where you get 4 downs in gridiron. Right? I was pretty good. I was 12, and I was pretty good. I thought I'm good at this. I like it. They pass me the ball. I run. We get a goal. We score what they call a try. And I was good. And then someone says, "Now, do you want to have a go at this game called Australian Rules? They play it over in Victoria, but it's starting to take off here. And you want to have a go at it?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." And they said, "Well, there's a couple of differences. You can't run. If you run more than 10 meters, you've got to bounce the ball." Okay. "And if you don't bounce the ball, that's a free kick to the other side." Okay, well, that's a pretty stupid rule. Yeah, well, anyway, that's the rule. If you run more than 10 meters, you got to bounce the ball. Right? And I tried running and bouncing the ball, but the ball never came back. Always sort of bounced off and ran in, went away. And I'm thinking, this is a stupid game. I just want to run. I just want to grab the ball and run. Right? Anyway, so I never got good at Australian rules. I was never very good at it. I played it maybe 1 year when I was 12. Really hopeless at it, because I had spent my real formative years learning rugby, which I was good at, and I liked it. And I was sort of playing in teams every weekend, traveling around the state, and we won. And I was getting used to it. And this is how I feel LinkedIn is for me. I was used to Twitter. Twitter is short, sharp, fast, do it now. 14 characters, whatever it is now. And I got good. I got really, 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 really good at Twitter for like 20 years. Then it got taken over and changed. But I think if I was to really examine what's happened here, LinkedIn is like Australian rules in the sense that the rules don't make sense to me. I get it. You got to have rules. Like, when someone said, "Look, I want you to play this game. It's called soccer. You're not allowed to touch the ball." I said, "Well, that really is a stupid rule. What do you mean you're not allowed to touch the ball with your hands?" What? What? You can't catch it? You can't throw? What is that? Yeah, you got to kick it. And you're not allowed to touch, and you have to hit it with your head. I said, that's a really stupid game. Hit the ball with your head. Come on. Who invented that? Mate, it's a big game. Don't say too much, mate. You're going to lose an arm. Don't say that in public. You know, you're never going to get out of this room. Right? And I played soccer, and I wasn't very good at it. And I look at the rules of that game, and I'm thinking, those rules don't make sense to me. Every time I hit the ball with my head, I got a headache. And go home with a headache. I'm thinking, this is a really stupid game. Whereas with rugby, they threw the ball to me, I run, I win, I get a score, the team wins, I feel good. So I got a funny feeling I'm at that point in my sort of professional career where LinkedIn's rules don't suit my head. Like they don't suit my brain. I think the rules are really stupid. Like I really think the rules are stupid, and I keep breaking them. And I've been suspended 3 times in 3 weeks, and I must be breaking the rules.
All right, so let's pause here for a second. If we know today that LinkedIn is saying that with this new 360 brew AI generated algorithm, LinkedIn belongs to creators who bring clarity, bring consistency, and authentic value. You bring all 3. Now, if you were to combine that with the ideology or mindset of your Twitter days and focus on today's subject matter for today's show, repurposing, combine all 3 of those. You don't have to generate long form content. You can take a clip generated by Substack and in a sharp format, almost Twitter-esque, you drop that into LinkedIn, you drop your 50 characters of short form content. Here's a clip from today's show. It could be a little knowledge bite, something that you're bringing that's authentic, that provides clarity and value, and you do that consistently. It doesn't take that much effort, and it contributes to your repurpose, and it keeps you visible, keeps you known for what you want to or need to be known for here on LinkedIn. You can do it, Keith.
It's a good challenge. I'm playing this up because I'm on the right at the end. Like as I said, I've been suspended 3 times in 3 weeks. I don't know anyone else who has been suspended as much as me. I must be doing everything wrong. So I'm going to have some fun with this. So why this is great is that I can speak with authority about this algorithm now because I'm directly affected by it. A lot of people, I mean, just ask anyone in the street. Most people are going, what? New algorithm? I didn't know that. I don't use LinkedIn that often. Didn't bother me. I haven't seen any differences in my mind. So I'm like everything I do now, I'm judging whether I'm going to get suspended. How long have I got? And even on the weekend, I'm thinking, oh, geez, is this it? I didn't send any invitations yesterday. Do I get another day? Do I save myself? And it's like I'm looking over my shoulder. You know, do I get out of jail again? How long have I got? I might be able to get to the shops and back without anyone noticing. And so I'm playing this out deliberately as a game because I've noticed in my brain that I'm doing all the wrong things. And that's okay. This is actually quite funny. It's quite fascinating to me. I love DMs. I don't like commenting in public. And I don't know if I'm ever going to love it. I can eat pumpkin if I have to because it's good for me, but I don't love it. And when my wife makes pumpkin, she puts it in a very spicy sauce and she mixes it in with all other things. Right? I always seem to find it. It's always on the bottom. What happened? You had this really lovely spicy sauce and here we are, 3 pieces of pumpkin. You got to eat it. You can't leave the table without it. You're not getting any dessert. So I feel like a child being derided for not eating his vegetables. But I'm going to try this as a bit of fun Because obviously, Americo, this change has not been very difficult for you because you're doing it anyway, right?
I'm doing it anyway. I would call myself a glass half full. I'm optimistic. I try to see the silver lining in everything, even when it may not be favorable for me. Sometimes I'll have to convince myself that it's indicative that although I might not agree with it, it's what's best for the masses. And you touched on it earlier. It's like decisions at any level, whether it's, at an organizational level, social level, decisions are made to appease the masses. And sometimes the voice of that one person or the opinion of one, some define as the outlier. Who really cares about the outlier if what we're doing here is going to shift?
Spock once famously said that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. Star Trek 4. So that's a quote directly from Spock, who, I mean, obviously was written by a real person and probably taken from Buddhist teachings or something. But the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. Spock, Star Trek 4. So we've got a direct relationship there. I'm one person out of 1.2 billion people. And I'm quite happy to concede that this style of the algorithm doesn't suit me personally. And that's okay, because I'm one person. I'm not whinging. That's why I'm really, 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 really into Substack, because Substack does suit me. I'm really rocking it there. I love it. I'm going to get good at it because I love it. It feels natural. And I often use another analogy from sport. If, say, I don't know if you know this name, but Viv Richards, or say baseball. Viv Richards was a very, very, very famous right-handed batter for the West Indies. Very famous. Probably the world's most famous batsman, maybe with the exception of Don Bradman, who was an Australian. But he was a right-hander. Imagine if someone had gone to him as a child and said, hey, look, guess what? The West Indies needs left-handed batters. Yeah, well, I bat with my right hand. I'm good. I can hit the ball hard, really fast, really long way. Now you want me to bat with my left hand? Well, I can't bat with my left hand. I can learn to bat with my left hand, but I'm not going to be great. I'm great at batting with my right hand. I'm great. World's best. And I don't want to just be average to fit in. I want to be good. And he became good. First drop on in West Indies during the 80s. I'm sure there's a baseball analogy for this. Say Babe Ruth, just an example. Just say, Babe, look, mate, we need left-handed. We need left-handed batters. Can you is he a batter? Babe Ruth, a batter?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, mate, we know you can hit the ball hard, but we don't have any left-handed batters. Can you bat with your left hand? Well, look, I don't know if I see the point of that. I can hit the ball really hard if I'm right-handed. Why do you need me to turn over my whole brain just because you need me to, bat with my left hand? So I guess there's two sides to this coin. One is I can do it, but I think I'm sacrificing myself. That's what I feel like I'm doing. I feel like I'm sacrificing my soul to fit in. And if that is the case, I'm not sure I'm going to do that. But I might be exaggerating to make a point. Like, actually, this is a very, 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 very good time to have this chat. I wrote this song, LinkedIn, feels like homework, right? And here's the line. I'm gonna read the line before I play the song. I'm not being obstinate on purpose, but I also want to be real, right? So I'm smiling in the headlines, and here it is. LinkedIn feels like homework. I'm pretending to be my best. Turning life into a network, every post feels like a test. I'm smiling in the headlines and dreaming in the burbs, but it feels like I'm selling my soul with clever words. LinkedIn sure feels like homework. And that's what I wrote that when the first time I was suspended. Now I'll play that. I want to play this song. LinkedIn feels like homework. And I want to actually talk about whether or not we can make the change. And I don't want to be an obstinate 3-year-old, but I also don't want to sell my soul just to fit into an algorithm. And this, I think, sums it up.
LinkedIn feels like homework. I'm pretending to be my best, turning life into a network. Every post feels like a test, smiling the headlines, dreaming in the burbs. It feels like I'm selling my soul with clever words. LinkedIn sure feels like homework. I wake up, pour my coffee slow, scroll through posts that say just go for growth. Everyone's climbing, shining, aligning, and I'm here still refining my bio line. I try to sound inspired, but it's tough. Who knew self-branding could be this rough? LinkedIn feels like homework. I'm pretending to be my best, turning life into a network. Every post feels like a test, smiling the headlines, dreaming in the burbs. It feels like I'm selling my soul with clever words. LinkedIn sure feels like homework. Congrats on your new romance. Type that loud with my own 2 hands. I'm happy for you, I swear it's true. Just wish I knew what I'm supposed to do. The feed says hustle, the feed says rest. No one agrees, but I'm still stressed. LinkedIn feels like homework. I'm pretending to be my best, turning life into a network. Every post feels like a test, smiling the headlines, dreaming in the burbs. It feels like I'm selling my soul with clever words. LinkedIn sure feels like homework. Maybe I'll rewrite my soul's resume, add still figuring it out on the work experience today. LinkedIn feels like homework. I'm pretending to be my best, turning life into a network. Every post feels like a test, smiling the headlines, dreaming in the burbs. It feels like I'm selling my soul with clever words. LinkedIn sure feels like homework. Yeah. LinkedIn feels like homework. LinkedIn sure feels like homework.
Now I'm being a bit playful today. I'm doing this on purpose to sort of generate a bit of interest. But America, you're making some very, very good points. That LinkedIn clearly is going in a direction we can choose to take part or not. And why this is very important, and why I'm plugging you a bit, is that there will be a lot of people that need your advice on this. A lot of people that will come across this brick wall, and you seem to have nutted it out. I'm pretty impressed. Tell us what people can do to sort of get through this. I mean, do you want to be a bit of a coach for this, or is this part of what you do with your live streaming coaching, or is it just a general discussion about how to get the word out about things?
Well, it is something that I want to be able to coach from a event live streaming perspective and lens, because as was hearing more and more about 360 Brew and what it was that it was doing for members, professionals, job seekers, I heard a lot about its impact as it pertained to everything except events.
That's right.
And I felt, okay, here's a gap. Here's a change that's being recognized as one of the biggest changes in the history of LinkedIn. And the one area that I want to be recognized for, there's zero or close to zero mention about how this new algorithm is going to impact events going forward. So that's where I want to be able to help those in the event space to understand, hey, you're going to experience lower participation, you're going to experience lower engagement, and here are the reasons why. And here's how I might be able to help reverse that, change that, or stop it from getting worse than it is. Right.
I love this. I love this. If people are noticing that the engagement has gone down, you are going to present a solution.
I'm willing, able, and capable of providing a solution from a live event lens and perspective. And I want that to be what people walk away with. My advice might help your personal profile because it's similar in nature, but I want to uncover root causes that are impacting or influencing the event space more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, let me get out of your way and let's really, really nail this down. So let's find that there's two really key points that LinkedIn wants you to do. It wants you to post long, meaningful posts that are expertise, that demonstrate your expertise. And I'm guessing that's in writing, right? And they want you to comment more. Let's pull this apart and we'll bring some people in about this. We've hit 8 o'clock Eastern. 12 p.m. in Australia. So we know 8 o'clock Eastern is a power time for people. So I'm going to just honor this, see if people want to do it. But how do you do these long, meaningful posts? Have you started to do more posting? How are you creating these posts now?
In fact, in the spirit of consistency, I've cut back in terms of long posts or posting in general. I've made a commitment, and I don't know how long I can uphold this commitment, but I've made a commitment just based on my personal analytics. Mondays and Fridays are a wash. So I'm focusing Mondays and Fridays. If I'm going to spend time on LinkedIn, it will be purely engagement.
Oh,
Comment.
Tell me about this. Tell me this engagement. Because you've got to get in the zone, haven't you?
You got to get in the zone.
Never get penalized for commenting, do you?
You won't get penalized for commenting, but I can see it as clear as day at Mondays and Fridays. People are either getting amped up for the work week or winding down and have little to no interest in thought-provoking content. So I'm giving it up. Friday, you might get a poll from me instead of on a Saturday, and just keep it lighthearted. But I'm committing Mondays and Fridays to engaging in the content of others, bringing my thought leadership, but from my area of expertise. I'm not just going to be jumping into everyone's comments or everyone's posts. I need to be very strategic in how I bring value or how I tie my thought leadership into what I'm doing, or from my perspective to help those who are interested in what I do. Now, the biggest thing I'm going to have difficulty with is, historically, I don't like to promote myself. I don't like self-serving, that persona that is self-serving, or when it's written, it appears and reads like, okay, this guy is just tooting his own horn and feeding his own ego. I almost get the sense where this algorithm wants you to feed your ego.
Yeah, it's a Canadian thing. It's an Australian thing. I've got to be honest, I don't like reading those comments. Like, it's obviously self-serving. It's couched in a sort of an authoritative way, but it's really just, here's me, I'm doing it. Here's the link. Call me. What do you think, Lynn? I mean, you are, you're embedded in the US culture. Maybe it's a cultural thing, but I want to really pull apart this idea of commenting versus posting. This is a very key paradigm. You're never going to get penalized for commenting too much. There's no such thing. Do you comment on other people's posts, or do you mainly post your own content? It's a very good question.
I love if it's good, if it resonates with me, I'm commenting on it because I want them to know, hey, your post, it meant something. I'll give an example. Michael posted something today and I read it, and I just thought what he put into it was so good, and so I commented on it. Shelley did a post just a while ago that I commented on, and it's because it resonated. The her experience I could relate to, and so things like that, if it resonates with me, I'm going to comment on it.
I love this angle. I love this
Yeah.
angle. So you're commenting on the thought-provoking qualities. You're not saying, and guess what? That reminds me, I'm doing an event next week, and I think you would be a fantastic guest at my event. There's no self-promotion in it. It's just pure gratitude, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want them to, or I had an experience like that, so I understand what that means. Whatever it is, just depending on what it is. But I don't. No, I'm not getting out there just to say, "Oh, look at me," come follow me. I'm the, vacation specialist. No, 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 no. It's really just because that post meant something, and it spoke to me. So that's why.
Yeah, I love it. I love this. I think I can do this. Is that would you resonate with that, Americo? This sort of gratitude post, this gratitude commenting?
Yeah, I definitely would. I would also go as far as saying, for me, there's a difference between self-promoting and self-serving. So self-promoting is talking about what I do and trying to solicit business on the back of someone else's post. Self-serving is sharing my thought leadership and exercising my, and I hate to say ego, but it almost feels like it. Like I'm sharing my thought leadership. This isn't about outsmarting someone's thought and someone's post. It's about adding value. So you really got to be careful in how you're contributing through comments, because you don't want to steal someone else's thunder or spotlight. You want to be able to amplify, because that's still a core value when it comes to community.
And what's the advantage? I mean, separate to if you want to do it, but what's the advantage of commenting on other people's posts? Why would you do it?
So Michael says it best: more eyeballs, right? Because when you're constantly posting on your in your community, it's the same eyeballs, right? And when your content is pushed out, it's pushed out to a limited number within your community before it decides on whether or not it's going to push it out to a broader audience. But when you comment, you're instantly put in front of someone else's audience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, the advantages I can see are twofold. One is you can get involved in their audience, and more importantly, they see you. So if you really want to follow a thought leader, one of the best ways to get their attention is comment on their posts, because they'll go, hey, this guy keeps turning up. He's making thoughtful comments. Maybe I'll connect with him next time I'm in his town, or maybe I'll give him a call because he's making really good points there. I'd never heard of him before, but I actually think he's pretty clever. So he will never come across you. They will never come across you, but you might come across him or her and think, this is good. This is very well thought out, and I really appreciate what you're thinking there. There's nothing in this for me. I'm just saying thank you as a gratitude post. I really enjoyed that post, and thank you. Keep doing it. I think I could probably do that.
Awesome. Here's something purely speculative, but here's what I'm seeing and recognizing. And maybe it's just me just spending too much time in the weeds overthinking this, but I'm expecting to see more of this going forward with this new algorithm and its dynamic way of putting people in front of us. I found in the last couple of months, as I have shifted how I reach out to people and how I engage with people, that those people who I reach out to are very reciprocal. They will engage in my content as a form of gratitude for showing up in their community and sharing with and participating in their content. But I find that the minute that some of those people, not all of them, some of those people realize they can't sell you something, they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So my gut tells me we're going to see more of that. People are going to come in and out in spurts.
Yeah.
Because we're being put in front of a different, perhaps a better audience. People are going to they're going to start salivating. Oh my goodness. This algorithm is wonderful. I'm starting to get introduced and suggested to people that I would never have otherwise known they were here. And you start engaging and you start participating. Then the minute you realize, like, well, I'm not going to make any money off of this. And then they just ride off into the sunset. So expect to see more of that is my guess.
It's really good. It's really the opposite of how my brain works. Like, as I said, we went to see AC/DC. Yeah. Brian Johnson, the lead singer of AC/DC, is not running through the comments going, "Hey, thanks for that. Okay, yeah, but we had a great gig and thank you for clapping at halftime. Glad you enjoyed the gig." He's busy gigging, right? He's doing the gig. He's flying to the next town. He's doing the sound check. He's having a sleep. He's getting a meal. He's singing. Hasn't got time to be making comments about people making comments. So it's sort of a different mindset, but it's clear that this is something that is needed. So it's a good challenge. It's very different for me. Like, it feels very weird to me. And I would be doing it in a fabricated way initially until I get my mojo. Like learning anything, right? Like learning anything. Like learning to play trumpet. Trumpet would feel very odd to me for, a year. And pity anyone listening to me in that time. But I might get good at it over time. And then it'll feel like second nature. It doesn't feel like second nature now. We've been going for 2 hours, and I've tried to instigate an 8 o'clock edition. The daylight saving thing really stuffs me up. You go forward, we go back. We go back, you go forward. It really stuffs me up. 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock for me. Then now suddenly it's 6 o'clock for you. Now it's 8 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock. People don't know when the show's on. So they don't know when the show's on because they forget. They think, as you would, everyone went forward this month. No, we didn't. We went back. Actually, you went back. We went forward.
We went back, yeah.
So that's 2 hours. You lose 2 hours there. Some people don't change at all. What are you talking about? We don't change. Why is it suddenly at a different time? But anyway, we'll adjust. I want to just run through the key points that we've been talking about. What is your best performing content? I'll pick this up tomorrow in the recap. I want to run the room on this in a minute. What can you do to repurpose your content? How can you share it on other sites? And how do you use Substack for that? So have you got a bit of a sense, Americo, of what your best performing content is, and how do you tell? Because some people don't even know how to check it.
Well, each platform provides analytics, and 10 times out of 10, my LinkedIn analytics will tell me that my events outperform everything else. Now, it doesn't mean that value is lost everywhere else, because I will use Substack in 2 instances. I will drop a post that raises awareness for an upcoming event, and then I will provide a blog summarizing and recapping what happened post-event. And it's getting visibility to whatever degree. We can always want and ask for better visibility and better reach, but that will come with time. I know that my content is concentrated on the lives, and as a result, I'm getting the best results, best analytics, and best participation and engagement for where I wanted and expected to. So any advice to anyone else is, as long as you're getting the most value in the place that you would consider yourself spending the most time, then everything else is just a bonus.
I love this. It's a very, 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 very important question. What is your best performing content? Most people don't know. It's like some people don't know how much is coming out of their bank account every month or how much is in their bank account. Oh, well, I just pay the bills. They get paid. I've got enough. I don't never check it. What do you mean you never check it? You never check how much is in your bank account? Yeah, well, there's plenty in there. What? Yeah, well,
That's a good problem to have, isn't it? Where you don't
Isn't it
have to worry.
good problem to have. Oh, look, I just, I get paid every week and I just pay for things and there's always something left over. So I don't check it. Okay, good. That's brilliant. I mean, what a great problem to have. So when I ask some people, where is your best performing content? Most people don't know. Right? So this is the question I'm asking in part 1 of Repurpose 3030. This is the first episode. There will be 8 episodes about this. Where is your best performing content? And how do you repurpose it? I want to just run you through the strategy I'm using, and then over the course of the next 8 weeks, I'll be starting to pull this apart. What I've decided is I'm going to do. I love live streaming shows. I love doing them. People love me doing them, and they absolutely are my best content that I can do. So I'm going to do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Mondays and Tuesdays in the US. They will be 6 p.m. Eastern. I apologize for that, but that's because you guys went forward and we went back. No, we went back, you went forward. I just cannot get my head around this. So it's not my fault. It's 10 o'clock here. It's 10 o'clock here. It's always been 10 o'clock here. It's not my fault that you changed your time. So it's 6 o'clock Eastern for the rest of the year. 3 p.m. in Vancouver and 12 p.m. in New Zealand and 10 a.m. in Melbourne and Sydney and Canberra and Tasmania. So that's the facts. That's when it is. But they go a long time, so there's plenty of time to catch up. So what I'm going to do is 2 shows a week, and I'm going to send it to Restream. I'm going to use a Restream. So there's 2 shows a week times 4, 8 shows. Remember, the goal is Repurpose 3030. 30 pieces of content in 30 days. That's the basic premise for this 8-week event. So I'm going to do 8 shows on Restream. That's 8 pieces of content. But I'm going to send it to 3 places. LinkedIn, for now, Substack, YouTube. So I'm sending the 8 shows to 4 places. I'm getting 32 hits in 30 days. Pretty proud. But I'm also going to experiment with other things. Songs on Suno. And one thing we haven't chatted about, Americo, and you've got a show about this, so this is a great segue. I just cannot believe that people do not resonate with these small Google Notebook snippets. These shows go 3 hours. We can put it down into a 10-minute audio. Why wouldn't you do that? But apparently the research indicates that people hate them. What's your thoughts on this? You got a whole show about this, haven't you?
Yeah, so Thursday, 7 p.m., we'll be talking. I got Madison McCann, who is the founder of, she's a podcast professional. And she put out a poll, and we'll let her set the stage on Thursday, but she put out a poll that piqued my curiosity, which resulted in me putting out a similar type of question in terms of consuming AI-generated podcast content. And it is no secret, Notebook LM is one of the most used tools where you can take text to speech and it'll generate and put together a podcast style product that you can then distribute to your social channels. There are other text to speech tools that work, but surprisingly, so it wasn't just our 2 polls. I dug into it a little further, and there's some big sources that are coming out with the same tone, same message, same outcome. People hate consuming AI generated audio content. I was shocked. I thought it would be a growing and emerging market in terms of content production. But no, people still want that natural, authentic, real voice, whether it's in real time or whether it's recording. They prefer the human voice over the AI generated voice. So we're gonna dive into that on Thursday.
Yeah, and I've asked the question: would you listen to an AI generated podcast highlights? Now, let's be very clear. These shows go for 2.5 hours. You have no idea how hard it is to edit this stuff. People don't. You know, they just expect us to do all the work and they just sit on the couch and listen to it. Well, that's great, but someone's got to do that, right? Someone's got to do that. But doesn't Substack go some way towards that? Have you been experimenting with the Substack snippets? So what are they like?
So the Substack snippets are snippets of a real time conversation. So it's our voice, and it's taking what it believes will perform well, and it'll put it out. So it's AI. The automation is AI driven. It'll go through the conversation and suggest, 4, sometimes 5 1 minute or just under or over a minute clips for you to share and redistribute. But that's still your authentic voice. It's not taking that text and putting it in an artificial voice. So
yeah,
those
it's your voice
well.
making smaller snippets, and it's doing some of the work. The reason why we don't do all this editing is just too time consuming. Like, it's just very, very, very time consuming. It's a whole industry. But let's pick up on this, Lynn. Would you consider doing AI generated highlights of your longer posts, or would you prefer to say do Substack snippets?
Well, I do like the fact that Substack makes the little clips. And in fact, just from what I did this morning, I already have 4 clips just from that little bit of content.
Yeah.
So,
Bingo.
I mean, it's pretty handy,
And where are you putting those? That's the point. Where are you putting those, do you think?
Well, I don't know. That's what I was just thinking about. What should I do with that, with those clips to test out? Maybe I'll take one of them and post it to my Instagram, or well, I don't know, but I think that's definitely what I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah, well, it's the time differential. I mean, obviously, if we all had time or unlimited budgets, we could just pay someone to edit all our stuff and have them follow us around and record our whole life, and we could do all these great things at cost. If money was no problem, you could just do anything you want. But
Oh, sure.
money is a problem and time is a problem. So I love Google Notebook. I love it. Like, I off the charts love it. And the video version is really good. Like, the Google Notebook video snippets are really good. But obviously, no one agrees with that, and no one's watching them. What do you think, Jim? Jump in and tell us about Substack snippets and Google Notebook highlights. How do you do this editing piece that we're all struggling with? Welcome to the call.
Well, it's great to be here. I wasn't. I know sometimes you go really long, and so I was like, you almost sounded like you were wrapping up there for a minute. So then I saw the conversation was continuing, but I really haven't dove into the Notebook LM. For me, it's been more doing the repurposing in some regards with the Substack backend, which I like, because even if you just say do some short, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a video you did on Substack, right? You could go out with your phone, record something, upload it to Substack, and it will clip it. So it becomes your de facto editor. And because it's in drafts, you don't have to publish it. So then you take that clip and you can make it a note. That's where I think it's powerful from repurposing on the Substack platform. And I've taken a couple of those clips and used them, as an example on LinkedIn. right? Make that LinkedIn wants us to do videos. Well, here's a great way to create a short video to put on LinkedIn. I haven't necessarily moved them over to YouTube Shorts yet. I've debated that because I think going back to what I heard you talking about earlier, Keith, my three platforms, I guess you could say, of choice have been, um, you know, Substack, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I would say right now in that order. Now, I will tell you a funny story. You may not have seen it because it was on Facebook, but I went up to Philadelphia last week to celebrate the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps with met a couple of friends up there, and we were in this bar that's called currently called Tun Tavern. It's not the original Tun Tavern for those that may not know Marine Corps history. That's where the Marine Corps was founded in 1775. And so I did a video of a group of, Marine veterans and our supporters singing the Marines hymn, 30 seconds long. I posted it to Facebook as a reel. It didn't do any sort of, editing, it's just raw video. And that ended up getting over 100,000 views. And then that
Oh,
led to
wow.
people following. I've gotten over 1,000 new followers on Facebook on my professional profile. And then that led to people watching other reels that I had done that were, I guess you could say, Marine Corps related. So I have had over 500,000 views of 3 reels in a week. Now, does that do anything for me? I don't know. And it's kind of like, other than if you want to call it vanity metrics in some aspects, it's like, okay, that's great, but what does it really really do for me? I think because I posted actually that same video to Substack, and I got a small handful of people that reacted to it. So I think it kind of goes back to, in some ways, and I know you talk about this with LinkedIn, the platforms are looking for what they want, not necessarily what you want to give.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and you've got to play this out. You mentioned notes. I'm very, very, very big on Substack now. Very interested in it. Not big, metaphorically. So I love what Substack is, and I've heard that notes are a very good way to get attention. So what you've done there is taken a small snippet and turned it into a note. How do you do that? You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, you literally, it'll let you upload a photo, it'll let you upload a video, and it doesn't have any sort of limit that I'm aware of. It doesn't make sense to upload, a half-hour video as a note. If anything, share your post from your Substack, you know, publication as a note, and maybe tell people what's in that post so they'll go and look at it. So that what I have been focusing on doing. I don't like to use, because I'm not going to say try, because as Yoda would say in Star Wars, do or do not, there is no try.
Yeah.
Is I'm looking to make a post once a week on Substack, and it's usually a combination of I'm recording some sort of video, instruction demonstration. Last week I did a video about StreamYard releasing Mars, which is multi-aspect ratio streaming, so you can go live on both vertically and horizontal and landscape at the same time. And of course, it's funny because it's called Mars, and so on YouTube, it's like my YouTube title is like StreamYard launches Mars. So you wonder if people are finding it because they think they're going to see a Mars launch. But I took that video, wrote an article about it, and then I shared it as a post, and I've gotten some good feedback, good interaction on Substack. But I think where I'm, strategically thinking, and I, my view is my priority is Substack, because for me, it's the long game. It's building that email list. It's building that community that I may then take over to school to kind of be that deeper dive, and you can control the community. You're not worried about what what you're posting there in regards to, oh, we're going to take this down because it's got music or other stuff in it. It's like you're in a closed environment, and you can do a lot of things there. So that's kind of how I'm moving forward. And so I really look at the repurposing is to bring to ideally at some point, if people are interested in what you're doing, they'll subscribe. Now, I've heard, I don't know if this is going to happen or not, and I think this would be really big with Substack, that with notes, they're going to move towards allowing you to do notes as your publication. Because right now the challenge is, because I'm involved as a, if you want to call it, admin on some other Substacks, and I'm not able to participate as much as I like, because if I post a note, I'm posting it as me and not as that publication. Kind of reminds me of the company pages sort of thing on LinkedIn, where you can post as if you're the company. I think that would be really big to help some of these publications not only grow, but also kind of use notes that are on message with what their publication is about.
As opposed to it coming from you as the admin of that publication.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be clever. That's not currently available, but they're working on that.
That's not, but Christina God, who I'm in her group, follow her on Substack. She talked about that, and I think there was like a, if you want to call it a notes forum for some of the big Substackers in New York City, and I think they were talking about that, and I think I maybe have shared some of her comments in a note about that as well. But that sounds like that may be something coming sooner rather than later. And I will say that's the one thing that I've liked about Substack, is that they are really getting to I think they're looking at how can I help the creators and their community do better things, and so that's what I've seen, and I just still feel like it's a better it's like we've kind of talked about it. To me, it's a better platform right now than a lot of the others in regards to how people are able to communicate.
And what is your take on the LinkedIn algorithm? Have you been affected by it? Do you have an opinion about it, or are you a little bit nonchalant?
I'm probably more a little bit nonchalant in that, yes, I'll post things, but I also don't feel like LinkedIn's really, I mean, I'm connected with people on LinkedIn. Every once in a while I'll post something and yeah, great, it'll get seen, but I'm not sitting there trying to chase the algorithm. I'm not trying to chase, followers and connections, because it goes back to, I can take content that I created on Substack and I will make that same post into a newsletter. And even though LinkedIn says my newsletter, reached so many people, it's not getting the same engagement and views as my Substack going out to my Substack email list.
Yeah, I love, let's pick up on this. I think Substack really is, I'm definitely picking up more on this next year. Substack, I think, is well worth the effort for those that haven't yet discovered it. 50 million people, this is a very interesting stat, 50 million people have a Substack account or have a Substack process. 5 million people have paid subscribers. 10% of people who subscribe to Substack pay people. Like, this is a monetization model. With LinkedIn, it's a sort of a secondary thing. You post and then you make a conversation and you have a call, and then maybe they might pay you or they might take part in your process. It's a long game. Whereas with Substack, it's very direct. I'm posting anyway. If you like it, pay me $5 a month. Yes or no? Up to you. And 5 million people currently subscribe in a paid capacity to some form of Substack publication. Right? 5 million of the 50 million that use it. So I think it's a better model. this event is going to Substack, so I can talk about this with quite strong passion. It's also going to LinkedIn, but look, I'm not that excited about LinkedIn, to be honest. I mean, I'm quite unexcited about what it's doing at the moment, and I've even written a breakup song, which I might play at the end. But Substack is really, it suits me. It resonates with my personality. What do you think, America? Give your right a reply there. You don't mind what LinkedIn's doing. How does it compare to what Substack's doing? Have you embraced it? Do you love it as much as we do?
Well, there's no secret. I would say that Substack is growing on me. Now, in terms of my audience, still, you look at the scales. Spent years building what I have on LinkedIn, and Substack is relatively new, but what it has in terms of friendly to use interface, filled with just tools and features like no others. So if I'm comparing what Substack offers for creators, it is foolish of me to turn an eye and say, yeah, we're going to shelve this until it becomes something bigger and better. Listen, I think we're already late to the Substack game, but I got nothing but respect for what they're doing for creators.
Look, I know people that are feeding their babies with it. Like, I know people, they're feeding their babies they're writing content anyway. This is what I love. I'm a creator. And that's fundamentally what I do. I create. So on Substack, people are writing articles, doing videos, doing things, and people are going, this is good. I'll give you $10. And I shared with with America, there's a guy in Norway. So funny. This guy in Norway creates music all day, plays all of the instruments. And he says, imagine if ABBA did an Iron Maiden song. What would Run to the Hills sound like sung by ABBA? Or more importantly, what would an ABBA song sound like if the lead guitarist from Iron Maiden did the solo? And he does it. He does the drums and the bass, and you can't be working in a cafe or pumping petrol or working in the city if he's playing guitar all day. So he says, look, if you're really digging what I'm doing, can you just give me $10 a month? It's a very similar model to Patreon. Yeah. Can you just give me $10 a month, and then I'll keep making these videos, and you get the special ones. And he's got like about 100,000 subscribers, and he just all day, every day. He says, wouldn't it be cool if Metallica did a One Direction song? Or what would it sound like if Taylor Swift did a cover of, I don't know, something from the 70s, say The Doors, Roadhouse Blues? Let's do that. Let's imagine Taylor Swift doing the Roadhouse Blues from The Doors, 1977 or whatever it was. And what would it sound like? And he gets a female singer in, and she does the singing, and he does all of the instruments. Right now, he's too busy creating to be stuffing around, selling himself, trying to pretend, trying to market his materials. He's just doing it. And I think that's what Substack represents to me. We're busy doing it. We love it. We love doing it. And if you dig it, well, why don't you just throw me $10 a month, and that'll help me pay my internet bill? Or I might put food in my belly, or put petrol in the car. Otherwise, I've got to go and work in a shop, or go into the city, or do some bullshit job. And there's plenty of creators that are making a living, paying their way, feeding their babies, doing this. It's a different model. And I think LinkedIn is sort of coming from a different place, and it doesn't suit me. I might play with it, but it doesn't suit me. What do you think, Lynn? What do you think of Substack in this context? How are you using it? It's very, very, very different to LinkedIn, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. But, one of the things, too, I like about Substack is the real communication you get with people within the community that, Just today, her name is Tara, I believe, but she put something out that just resonated with me. Her note. It was. I can't repeat it because maybe I could because I'm on Substack. But anyway, just it was hilarious. Her terminology for what she was talking about, and so I kind of like that. People can just really be who they are here on Substack, and more so than like you couldn't. I don't think that I could be the same or be. I don't know. You just can't. It's just a different type of. I don't know how to explain. How can I put it into words? You just couldn't do the same thing on Facebook. I guess you couldn't do this. It's
much
just
more
totally
natural. It's very much more natural.
Yeah. And I don't know it on Facebook, and especially in my community where I have family and friends. It's a little bit more. I mean, well, it is certainly. It's very conservative there, and so I would want to keep things a little bit conservative. Here, if you said the F word, you could say it here. You wouldn't say it. That's kind of where I'm getting.
Yeah.
You might could say that here on Substack, but you can't say it on Facebook or
I love the
I guess
model.
some people do,
Someone
but-
said to me recently, because and I'm really interested in your thoughts here, Jim and Mike. I've now been restricted 3 times in 3 weeks, right, on LinkedIn, and the last time was last week, like the night before the big show that I've been planning for 6 weeks. And someone said, "Oh, mate, are you paying them? Are you a paid member of LinkedIn?" I said, no, I don't use premium. He says, "Well, you can't expect too much if you're not paying them. If you're not paying LinkedIn premium, you shouldn't really be using it at all. I mean, you're probably scunging off them. LinkedIn is for people that want to pay." I said, "Oh, well, okay. I get your point there. I might just stop using it because I'm not paying them. That's for sure. I'm certainly not paying them to get cancelled." So I'm interested in whether or not anyone else is having trouble with the algorithm, or whether they do use the premium, or whether that makes any difference. Do you think the fact that you use premium, Americo, makes a difference to your experience?
It might make a marginal difference. I wouldn't say that it makes a tremendous difference. From a consumer's perspective, what I'm paying in terms of my premium fees, I wouldn't exactly say I'm getting the biggest return on my investment. And now I own part of that that responsibility, because the one of the biggest things that it provides is the learning library and the certifications, which I'm probably not leveraging as best as I can. But from every other perspective, there's very little benefit. A few features that are turned on. And I hear there's probably more on business premium pages, but there's some changes coming where they're going to put some free features that are available today behind a paywall. And I think it's no secret. I think many of us have been speculating that more and more of the free features might find its way behind a paywall to encourage that sentiment that you just shared. They want more people to buy into their platform.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. It is a business. They're making plenty of money, and good on them. Mike's made some very interesting questions here, comments here. I would agree that most sites suck on a phone. I hate using my phone. I never use it. But what do? Do you use your phone? Do you use a desktop? Do you use a laptop? You go first, Americo. Do you use your laptop, or do you sometimes use your phone? I know some people work exclusively on their phone. I can't understand it, but what do you think?
So I would say it's about a 90-10 split. I'm on my laptop 90% of the time, and find myself using mobile when I'm on the run. But I use mobile more to listen than to engage. You will know when I'm engaging on mobile because it's just riddled with typing errors because my fat fingers and the keyboard on my mobile device just don't work well together. And so at least you know it's not AI generated content because of all the misspelling.
It's very important because we are mobile people. We're out in the world, doing things on the train, on the bus, going to work and walking the dog. But what about you, Lynn? Do you mostly use your phone or do you use a laptop? When you're away, for instance, did you use your laptop or did you only use your phone? What's your thinking?
Oh, the phone for sure. It just is easier when I'm away to use my phone. And I mean, I started out using my phone, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. But I use my laptop too. So I use them both, I guess. You can just definitely say I use both of them.
What about you, Jim? I'm fascinated by that discussion we had recently where you went to a friend's house that had a friend's shop, I think the coffee shop, and you just dropped in on your phone and did an impromptu. This is very relevant because America is having a little bit of trouble getting businesses to agree to be interviewed, whereas you just turned up on your phone and made it fun. You want to tell us that experience? Do you use your phone a lot?
Well, I use my I mean, I've got actually two studios. Right now I'm on my my MacBook, but I have a Mac Mini that is really more my studio where I've got I can do multiple cameras, I can switch microphones, and I use I do production work, so I do remote production work. So for me, the computer always comes first. Now, with the phone, I have the iPhone 17 and the 16 because I'm one of those people that when I can get a new phone, I keep the old one as an extra camera because I can use it with my streaming software without having to even have the cell service as long as you have the Wi-Fi. But what I've been working on is more coming up with ways to be able to do live streaming in a sense on the fly. Part of that is that I now have a dedicated hotspot, not a phone hotspot that I can use for having internet access. And that's where the phone can come in handy because you could just connect that to your computer. Sometimes you can even do it through Bluetooth. But yeah, I think it's just about getting having good audio to go along with the video. And so that's where I've been working with different wireless microphones. Mainly my favorites have been from Shure, but of course I work with Shure, so that doesn't hurt.
Lynn,
But
Lynn
but
had,
I am fascinated with what is potentially possible using Substack's ability to, in a sense, add guests to your live stream. And I like the fact that when you're using the Substack app, which is something we all have a difficulty in when we're in a quote unquote studio, is that I can flip my camera from front to back. So
I'm very fascinated by this for two reasons, and I'll play them against each other.
yeah.
So Merico has really, really pushed hard to meet local businesses where they are and offering to get them into the live streaming component, and they've been resistant to it. And I was very fascinated to hear that story that you turned up to a coffee shop and just did a bit of a rant. The other thing I really want to talk about is that Lynn was on a cruise ship and couldn't do lives because the internet was so bad. And I'm really interested in the fact that there she was in real life doing a thing, and the opportunity for content was immense. And I really want to pick up on what happened there. I might play that out first because it's very fresh in our mind. Can you explain, Lynn, some of the challenges you had on the cruise ship, some of the wins, some of the challenges? What would you like to do better? What will you do next time?
Well, I couldn't go live from the ship, but I don't know if that was maybe just because of the Substack app, just not being able to get it, because when I did go, because like I said, it's really funny. The my draft that I do have from when I was trying to go live, it's you can it's like it's frozen, but it just didn't work for me on the ship. So it just that I wasn't able to do, but I still had a lot of good content, and I put out a lot of content on Facebook and Instagram, and that was very well received. But and I did still post some notes, and I'm sure you guys saw some of that already on Substack. But yeah, I don't know what exactly I would do, especially on a ship, because your Wi-Fi can be wonky when you're on a ship. I mean, it's just the nature of that. I think your Wi-Fi is just not going to be like it is at home.
Have you had experience with that, Jim? Bad Wi-Fi in the field. How do you compensate for that?
Yeah, I would say the challenge you have, if you have bad Wi-Fi, you got a couple of choices. Is one, it's probably not worth trying to fight through it, because it's the user experience, as far as your people consuming your content, they're gonna like, oh, this is horrible. I can't stand it. So I think the best thing you can do then is just record it, right? And then you can use, I think, Restream. I think, I definitely know StreamYard. Just replay the video later as if it was live if you want to get comments. So because you can do, especially now, you can do the vertical video. You've been able to do vertical for a while on StreamYard, but now it's like, hey, you can do both at the same time. But I would even go back to Mike's point, in one of his comments earlier. I'm still not sure what the true use case is, because it's one of these things like, oh, I want to be all things to all people when I go live. I want to get the vertical audience, and I want to get the landscape audience. And to me, it's like, focus on where most of your audience is, and then do repurposing if you want to put it on these other places. But I do see potentially, and I don't know, maybe Restream will release it next week, because they usually chase what StreamYard's doing. They'll all be doing it before you know it. Like, hey, you can go, vertical on TikTok while you're landscape on LinkedIn. And I'm not really sure that I see the value, but I think the value in, like, what Lynn was doing is, don't let the fact that you don't have the Wi-Fi stop you from capturing that video in real time. And so I think that's where using your phone, and just recording it, right? Because you're going to be able to get that good recording. And then, if you got to stitch stuff together later, great, do that. But just make sure you have a good microphone when you're doing it, I think is a more important thing.
Yep, I agree. Jim, do you, by the way, do you have premium for your LinkedIn?
I do.
Okay.
I've had it for a while. I had it at first because, and I think they still do it, LinkedIn will give premium to veterans for a year. And then I did like the extra features, as far as, for me at first, it was like, okay, who's trying to connect with me? Like, it would give you some of those details, kind of in the back end of, okay, so and so looked at your profile, and then maybe you go either try to figure out who it is. But what I have noticed, and I noticed this with Keith's event today, because I had this asked to me last week, because I do produce a show for a female LinkedIn expert named Kate Payne, is that the lives are no longer going live in the area that is your banner. And that used to be it. That was a thing, and I guess it just stopped. Where, like, if I were to go to Keith's profile up at the top, it would show this live. Well, it's not doing that today
on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with her show last week, because her executive assistant said, hey, I went to Kate's page and I didn't see the live where I normally did, but we were live on LinkedIn. They're now not showing it up at the top of your profile. So that's not necessarily a good thing for some people, because that's how, sure, you're getting a notification potentially if you said you were going to attend it. I'm still not sure if the bell really works, right? How many of those people do you have a bell on and you still don't see their content? So that's one of the things that was brought to my attention last week. And so, like I said, when I pull up Keith, and I'm going to do it in a second window just to make sure, because I am watching the event. Let's see if I see the video. And when I go to Keith, yeah, it just shows your top 50 brand ambassadors at the top of your profile. It's not where before it was showing this video. In the past, it would show up there.
It just shows that image banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
I
they've
don't.
de-emphasized. What do you think, America? Have they de-emphasized live streaming? We need to really know this.
They haven't. In fact, what Jim's referring to, not everyone had access. Not everyone was seeing that. So I'm not sure if it was something they were testing or something that they tested, and only those who had it kind of kept it as a grandfathered rule. Because I've never seen that.
Every time we go live, Dealcasters, it didn't matter if it was our business page, personal pages, it would definitely go live up there. And I don't know if it's because I was a LinkedIn creator. I don't even know if that necessarily mattered, but yeah, it looks like that disappeared.
It may have disappeared when they changed their creator rules, because you needed to meet a certain criteria. Now anyone can be a creator as long as they have 150 connections. I ran across a YouTube video yesterday that suggests that it's still available on the business pages, and there's an encouragement to post and schedule events on your business page, because it provides a YouTube-like experience where all your other videos are put together really nicely, and it delivers a great user experience and encourages on-demand and replays for those who are watching and viewing events hosted through a business page. The other workaround that someone had shared with me, now it is a workaround, but I don't see it being a hack of any kind, because people have to make their way to your profile, is moving your event to the featured tab.
Oh, that's clever. That's actually quite easy to do. What would happen there, do you think?
So those who are visiting your profile would see, so whether it's prior to or during the event, they would see something coming up without having to go source it in the events tab.
But see, I think for me, and I'm going to, if you want to call, I'm going to be the contrarian here. This is what bothers me about some of these platforms. You keep changing the rules, and we're supposed to adjust to it, because now you want us all to do stuff on our business pages, which in the past, no matter how much you try to do with your business page and comment as your business page, people are still not going there. Getting people to now add your business page is another thing on top of connecting with you, right? I mean, how many of us get over inundated with notifications on our LinkedIn? And by not even that, it's more like the invite notification. Like if I connect with Keith, all of a sudden now I'm getting a notification or invite to subscribe to his newsletter, or he's going to invite me to an event. And so I think at some point that for people becomes that, I'm not even paying attention to this. And so I think
you just tune out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's the problem now, is like, if you're not going to make us play games to get our videos seen on LinkedIn, I'm just going to go on YouTube and Substack, where I know I can organize it in a way that I want it to be organized, and not in the way that they want to. Because how many things have we seen, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn? I mean, I would probably even say with Instagram, where they change things, and something that used to work for people no longer works because that's not important to the platform anymore. Doesn't
Right.
matter that it worked for you. And so I think that's where even prior to this, I've always felt like the problem with video on LinkedIn is that there's not a good way to organize it, because yes, now there's a video tab on your profile, but it's still not like people are like, oh, if I want to see Keith's show from 2 weeks ago, I go to this tab and it just readily jumps out at me. It doesn't. So that's kind of my perspective, and that's why I said I would say for me it's Substack and YouTube are my top two.
Yeah, I want to pick up on this because what I've decided, just for me, I don't know if this is a good idea, but I've decided that I'm not turning monetization on in Substack until I get to 100 followers, 100 subscribers. I just want to prove to myself that I can do it. I'm currently at 62. So I've decided that I'm not turning monetization on until I get to 100 subscribers. And my current goal, which I'm very excited about, is I want to get to 10,000 views of my content within 90 days. I'm at 9,000 at the moment, and the 90 days that since I started on Substack is the 2nd of December, because I started on the 2nd of September. So if I can get to 10,000 views by the 2nd of December, I've in my mind used one principle that makes sense to me. But what I'm really interested in is when I do turn monetization on, what is the general paradigm for what you get? People will say, well, okay, I don't mind giving you $5 a month, but what do I get for that, Keith? If I'm going to give you $5 a month or $50 a year, what am I getting for my $50? So what I've decided to do is I'm not actually making these replays available very readily, and I'm going to create unlisted videos on YouTube, and they will be something that subscribers will get. And I'm very interested in what people are doing with their Substacks when they turn monetization on. Have you got monetization on, Jim? And what do you get for your subscribers that pay?
Well, I do have it turned on. I just have a handful of people right now that are. So I've definitely, reached out to them individually, thanking them for their support, and they kind of know they have an open door if they want to ask me questions and things of that nature. Not that I wouldn't do it for the others, but I think what my plans are, but that becomes more like when you get to that certain point of paid subscribers, then maybe you do maybe you do a Zoom that's on Substack, but it's behind the paywall, and only they get access to it. That's where maybe you have a school community that your paid subscribers get into certain classes or whatever that your free subscribers don't. So I think it's just a matter of what value you're going to give people for supporting you. That's my perspective on it.
I love this topic because I love doing the show, and like the guy who's playing guitar all day, playing ABBA songs like Iron Maiden, he's doing it anyway. Like, he's doing it anyway, even if he's not eating. He's broke, living on fruit bread and brown rice. I know this because I know a lot of poor musos, and we want to play. We want to create. We don't necessarily want to be rich and have Lamborghinis. We want to play. We want to be creative. So what has happened several times, and I've had this discussion with quite a few sensible people, they go, what am I getting for my $50? What do you mean? What are you getting? You're getting all these free shows, and what you're doing is helping me make them. You're getting the satisfaction of knowing that you're part of the team. I mean, my internet bill's $100. My mobile phones are $50. That's got to come out of somewhere. How am I going to pay for that? Yeah, but what extra do I get by being a supporter? What do I get? What do I get? Right? What's in it for me? So I've been really pushing ahead with this, and I'll probably will turn monetization on maybe in January. And I'm playing around. What do you think, Americo? If you turn monetization on, what do you think people will get for their paid subscriptions on Substack? Are you going to turn monetization on eventually, or have you already?
Well, I haven't turned it on. I don't think I have enough influence on Substack to warrant that. But in terms of what you get, it's definitely got to be something above and beyond what you're providing in terms of free content. So to Jim's point, you want to be able to provide either a mastermind, a class, some value added touch point, resources that perhaps can't be found on your profile. And we know that everything is searchable. You can probably find resources free of charge, but those who are supporting you for a reason. So it's important that whatever that value add that you're providing, that it be above and beyond and not something you would give anyone else.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this. What about you, Lynn? Do you think you'll turn monetization on in one day, or have you already done that?
No, I have not. But and I have thought about this. If I were to have something like that, it would have to be we do have access to suppliers that will have very, very low pricing, but it isn't advertised, and we're not allowed to post about it, or it is something that is just sent to a client, or it's sort of hush hush. So maybe they would gain access to that. And then I do have a newsletter that I could also put in there, and maybe some travel tips if I were going to do that. And I don't know, because
I'm not in a hurry to turn it on. To be honest. I'm not in a hurry to turn it on. Yeah. But I wanted to. A lot of people turn it on like from the first day, and I'm thinking, well, you haven't even got a Substack yet. What do we get? How can we get anything from you? We don't even know what you're going to post about. Mm-hmm. So I've decided that I want to get to 100. It's a nice round number. I've got 62 at the moment, and I want to prove to myself that I can get to 100. And if I can get to 100, I think, okay, well, I've got something now, and then I'll probably turn monetization on in January. But then, of course, what do people get? $5 a month, $50 a year, and then they have this idea of the founders fee, or the founding members. I'm probably not going to turn that on. Because I don't want to commit to extra goodies. I just love doing the shows, and I want people to come to the shows. But I wouldn't mind paying my internet bill and putting petrol in the car rather than that coming out of my savings. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. But as I said, I'm retired. I can do it. This is not a challenge, but I just think it's fair. But I think it's worth discussing. You've mentioned school. Jim, do you want to tell us a little bit about that for people who don't know? We use Go Brunch, which is a somewhat similar thing, totally different in a way. But tell us what school is and what you think how that offers additional value.
So school is really, it's a community building platform, and the two guys that I guess you could say founded it, I think they're originally from Australia, but they've taken on the circles and the Kajabis and the other things like that in the world, and created a place for you to create a community of and you can start as building your own community for as little as $9 a month. And within that, you can put you can create a classroom, or you can create courses, both video courses, or I guess we'll call it text/analog courses. You can also live stream in there now. You can do both. It's more like, almost in some ways it reminds me a little bit of Zoom, but you can also now do webinars as well. You can gate the content. You can now have subscription levels, kind of like you do here with Substack. So you can have a free level, and then you can have levels above that. Like you could have a paid level and then maybe a VIP level. It gives you email. It gives you chat, as far as being able to do chatting with your community members. You can upload native video as well as linked video. You can put your YouTubes in there, other things. And there's people that are, they're making a living off of it, because you can create a community about anything you want. So if you wanted to have a community of, broke people that like to sing, you could do that. Just one of y'all had to pay $9.
It's like
So
it's a thing. I think it's a very important thing because, like, not everyone wants clients. Like,
right,
not everyone wants to do the corporate hustle bullshit. You know,
right,
this is the one reason why LinkedIn probably doesn't suit me. I don't want corporate clients and having to play the corporate game, but I've got something to share. And so for $5 a month or $50 a year, we can create a community around what we're doing. And I'll probably use Go Brunch for this because I've already created a radio station inside of Go Brunch, gobrunchradio.com. If you want to have a look at that, 16 different rooms that look like this. But school is a variation of this idea. It's a school room. It's an education system for as little as $9. How do you think it compares to Go Brunch? Have you tried it? Have you tried it? Is there
I
anything?
haven't used Go Brunch. I've never been in Go Brunch. I just wasn't anybody that I was necessarily connected with that
Had it? Yeah.
invited me to do it, and so I just haven't really checked it out. I mean, I think it becomes one of those things, right? I've been on Mighty Networks, I've been on Circle, I've been on Heartbeat. I mean, it's like at some point, just like with our social media platforms, right? Enough is
They all
enough.
start to look the same, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I love it is that it has one fee. At the moment, I think it's the 3-year plan. One flat fee, maybe $89. And for 18, I'm just riffing now. I'll check this in a minute. But for one low fee, you can have, say, 10 rooms, up to 200 people inside, one fee, $89. That's it, one fee. There's no monthly fee. You don't have to, it's not ongoing. So I've got the plan that allows me to have 16 rooms. I've got 16 rooms that look like this, slightly different, slightly bigger, more funky, more modern, different styles. I've got a cafe room, a barley room, a dining room, various beach cafe room. So I love it because you pay one amount and then you've got it. At the moment, they've just shifted that to a 3-year plan for the same. You don't get it forever; you get it for 3 years. But one of the things that I've always found a little bit frustrating about these membership sites is there's an ongoing fee, whether you've got clients or not. Heartbeat, for instance, I think is $40 a month. Very nice site, but $40 a month coming out of your pocket, just coming out of your pocket, whether you got members or not. So Go Brunch allows you to create these really visually pleasing sites. And then people sit in those chairs. America, do you want to pick up on this? Have you used Go Brunch, and do you have an opinion on it? I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think it could be.
I am a Go Brunch member. I have a few rooms that I use for one-on-ones with community members and potential clients. But I can't wrap my head around it being comparable to a school or to a Heartbeat, because right now it's just a room where we can congregate, talk and listen and engage through chat. When I last checked Go Brunch, I didn't see a place where you can archive resources for members to go back and use.
That's a very good point. Geez, it's a good point. Because, I mean, with that one fee, it's one flat fee, but you're getting basically a whole series of 3D generated rooms. That's all you get. Like, there's not much there, but they look bloody brilliant. And the idea that we can go to a place and say, you know what, I just wrote a song. I don't have to worry about getting copyrighted, or I'm going to play my favorite songs, because this is not going out in the public forum. There's something really, really, really powerful about being in a community where not everyone can see it. Say what you like. No one's getting this. This is not going out in the public forum, and you're not going to come back to you 2 years later and do some sort of Senate report on you. So, you just do this.
And that's the same with, I think, school and even these others like, Circle and everything else. And I think there's definitely an advantage to that. I mean, I haven't heard of anybody having any, issues beyond that. And you can literally create whatever it is you would like to create with it. And the whole thing too, the live streaming piece of school is new. I mean, it's within the last 60 days that they added
I
that
think you once
feature.
said
And I've been
you've
live on Circle and I've been live on School, and I will tell you that School is better.
you were saying that you believe it could be a Zoom killer.
I think there's a couple things they need to change. The biggest challenge right now with School, and I kind of get it, is if I invite you to my school as an example, Keith, you have to join my community. I can't just say, "Hey, I want to bring you in and let's have like a
one-off
virtual
chat.
meeting."
Yeah.
And then you go and you no longer can come back. That's kind of the catch right now. So I don't know how, but I think part of it is because they want people to join School and say, oh, there's other communities out there that maybe I can join, because you can be on School for free, because you can go join communities where the community owner is not charging you to be a part of it. And so it doesn't cost you anything to be in School. It's more if I want to be in charge, so to speak, then it's going to cost you, $9 a month.
I love it. I mean, I just love having these conversations. As we mentioned, and this is a very good chance to have this conversation, a site called Effie, EFFI.xyz, probably the coolest URL I've ever heard of. Americo's been contacted by them, and they contacted me today, and I hadn't heard of them prior to talking to Americo. So here's a site, Effie.xyz. I want to try it. I love trying new things. Obviously, it's in comparison to, like, we've already got others, so we probably don't need it. But it's nice to know what they do. It's nice to know. What's your take on that site, FEXYZ? Americo, you want to give us a bit of a synopsis? Have you tried to run some shows there? I think I'll try next week.
I've tested. I've run a few tests and have shared some user experience feedback, which they're taking back and making some changes. In terms of the interface, I get the feeling that the closest comparable platform is probably OBS. So it's but here's the thing, Lynn. They're making it extremely user friendly to set up a studio, create your scenes. The one thing I really like about it is, which I've been trying to dabble with, I tested Stream Alive and tried to integrate Stream Alive to use to make my events more immersive and interactive. I'm now able to embed questions, polls, and so many other widgets in my studio, where working with Stream Alive, I got to integrate it and share my screen. It's very clunky trying to get it to fit into the Restream ecosystem, where with Effie, it's all native to Effie, and I can build it right inside my studio without having to use any APIs or plug into anything, so it's a lot easier to work with from that perspective.
Okay.
Do you have an understanding of price points? Do they give you an understanding of how much it costs, or is it a price upon application?
Not yet. I'm just a beta testing, and the hope is that we become brand ambassadors or affiliates of some kind.
Yeah.
To help them go to market. I did ask them about their pricing, and they didn't divulge it. Not that they don't have it figured out. I'm sure they do, but I guess they want to make sure they get the experience right to understand if they're well priced or if they're underpriced or what have you. So
I love it. I love this because have you heard of this one, Jim? FEXYZ.
I have not. I did get invited. I just, we get overwhelmed by the amount of different ones. You probably heard of like YOLO Live. They have their own cameras. They also now have a streaming service, right? You've got EV Mux out there. You've got Stream Alive, like Americo said. I mean, so it's kind of one of those. I think one of the things, like one of the reasons that StreamYard and Restream still have the audiences they do is because people want it easy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these things that we might want because of, because I know Americo as well, we do more production work. We want the ability to offer more to our clients. They don't always see the value up front, but then they say, oh, I didn't know I could do this with video. So I think that becomes the challenge of like, are they really going to get people to jump from the known to the unknown? And I think that's the biggest challenge a lot of them have is, you have people that, and you have people that are going to swear by OBS. I mean, I've tried it, but it goes back to it's a lot of work, and I would rather just keep it simple sometimes.
For sure.
The advantage that StreamYard and Restream have over everyone else is it's simple to use, and that's what you're paying them for. Like it's plug and play. It's bloody brilliant. OBS free, sure, it's free, but bloody hell, it's hard, And so what you're making up for your $30 a month, $30 Australian, is that it's easy to use. It works every time. You've got all these great features. You could probably hobble together. All these features, but you've got to do it. It's like going out for tea. You sit down and the meal arrives. You pay someone for that, but you go out, you sit down, the food's on the table. Hey, I couldn't cook that. That's worth $20, $50, whatever you pay for your dinner. So convenience is a product. And that's why Substack and StreamYard and Restream are so good. And some of the others, but these are the two main ones. They're so good because of the convenience factor. We're all quite willing to pay them for that. What do you think, Lena? When we mentioned the word ABS, your eyes rolled, and there you are. You're almost going to...
gosh, nightmares.
Tell us how much you love OBS.
Oh, I hate it. You guys know from one of my very first experiences with trying to do a live, it was a nightmare. And I could not do it. It was just too hard. I mean, for me. But I love Restream. Restream is easy, very easy to use, user friendly. And that is what if it's going to be in the tech, it has to be easy to use for me, at least.
Yeah, I think that is the most important part. That's what you're paying for. That is what the product is. Sure, OBS is free, and if you've got the courage or the chutzpah or the patience to do it, you can do it. It's not hard if you've got the time. But like I pay someone to service my car, our car. I drop the car off, go and get a coffee, come back. Guess what? It's all clean and it's all ready to go. We'll see in a year. There's no way in the world I'm changing my own oil. No way. Even though I probably could. Probably not that hard. I'm not changing my own oil. I'm not getting my hands dirty. Just you do it. Yeah, just check the tires and the brake's okay. No worries. We'll see in a year. See in 10,000 kilometers because we don't do a lot of driving. It's the same thing. We pay for convenience. And I'm eager to try Effie. I don't know much about it. They contacted me today. But that's my brand. That's what I do. I'm on constantly trying things. And I'm hoping that they'll give me a look around, and I need to know what it costs because I've got to be able to pass that on. I'm a bit worried when it says book a demo. Well, that's usually a sign to say this is bloody expensive, but if you ring you will be able to convince you that it's worth it. They don't advertise the price of a Lamborghini in the paper, do they? You got to go there. You got to go there and get the price. It's not like it's listed on the website.
And they
'Cause-
didn't DM you with fears of getting kicked out of LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's amazing. But it's very good. I quite like Go Brunch, and I'm hearing a lot about school. There's a lot of comparisons there. Heartbeat, Circle, Mighty Networks, even Patreon, Discord, even.
How
Yeah.
do they find you on school when you're on there? So is it just something you have to let people know you're on it? Or how does that work?
I think the way that memberships work is this is a secondary idea. So and this might be something I offer my people on Substack. Say, for instance, if you've gone to the trouble of giving me $50 a year, I'm going to set up a special school room for you.
Yeah, what I've done is in Substack, I have changed my welcome email for both my free and paid subscribers, that there's a link in there. If they want to come over to the school, they can join. And at some point I'll send it out to my list. It's like, hey, I've got this set up. If you want to join, no cost to get, to get involved, because the focus is on, helping people with video. And so, but when you're in school, depending on the type of group you have, like if you want to make it private, you can. Because maybe you don't want people to know what your content's about, but you have a link to that community that you can share on your socials.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to check it out.
One thing I've been meaning to ask you, Lynn, when you were on your boat trip, your cruise, your big conference, did you hang out with other people and did you create content together, or did you share a meal? What did you do with real people when you were there?
Oh boy. Well, I had a good dance. So I did. I ran into some of my graduates from when I graduated my little travel school, and it was we had a really good time, especially the last night. We there was a live band in the piazza, and so we've got a good photo of us on that last night, and it was so much fun.
Because of these online processes are in a way a bit like that. So school or Heartbeat or Go Brunch especially, I could create a 3D rendering of a cruise ship, and you could do your courses there. Now you can do the show once a year on a boat, a cruise ship, if you want to, but you've got to get there, and you've got to be there. But with online, you could replicate that experience. So for instance, I'll show you this. I've got a cafe, which is very, 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 very similar to a cafe that's 10 minutes from my house. Right now, it's not the same. It's not like being there. Of course, it's not like being there, but you don't live here. So you don't live in my town, so you can't go to this cafe. But for a bit of fun, I can replicate a cafe near my house. It's not exact, but there's a beach and there's a coffee machine and there's people in it. And we can replicate. This is what I call the Go Brunch Cafe. Now, we can do that online. We can sit in the chair and you can have a coffee and we can have fun. We can play some music. If you come into Melbourne, I'll take you to this cafe if you want, but you've got to come to Melbourne. And who's going to come to Melbourne just to go to cafes? So you could do this with a cruise ship. Mm-hmm. You could actually replicate the bridge of a cruise ship, or the dining room, or the bar, or I saw you did a post about the cocktails, right? So you could do a whole room dedicated to the bar of the cocktails, and say, okay, let's just have a bit of a fun game playing with all the cocktails in this room. And so you get the bottles. Are you ready? I want you to put a bit of gin, a bit of triple sec, a bit of orange juice, shake it up, and the ice. Ready? Skull. And you could pretend to be together. It's not the same. Of course, it's not the same. But here's the Bali room, say. Here's the Bali room. Let's go to Bali. It's not the same as being in Bali, but it's a lot quicker than getting a plane and happen to turn up. So Go Brunch for me is this 3D rendering of real life. It really represents a lot of what I do. I've been to Bali. I've probably been to this cafe or this hotel. But it's just I've got to get to the airport. That's 90 minutes away, and then I've got to go to Bali and fly overnight. I don't want to go there, but I wouldn't mind going to a room that replicates the Bali room. This is why I think Go Brunch has its value, just in its sense that it can sort of give us the sense of real life. Doesn't have the back office, as you said, America. It doesn't have the library, but it has the visuals. Does that make a bit more sense in that context then, maybe?
Yeah, it does in that particular context.
Yeah. So if you're, because we just went to the city, MCG, 100,000 people seeing AC/DC live. It was a good gig. We were there in amongst it, but they've got to come here. They've been here like once in 20 years. We've got to go. We've got to line up for tickets. It's a lot of money, a lot of expense, a lot of time. But we could replicate this. It has a lot of uses, but I'm very interested to compare that to how Effie does it. We've been going about 3.5 hours. I might give everyone a chance to wrap up. What we're doing here is as a show twice a week till Christmas called Repurpose 3030. The basic idea is that I want you to create 30 pieces of content in 30 days based on what you've already done. What is your best performing content? How can we do that best? What sites to use, what tech to use, what's working, what isn't. So I might wrap up and get myself some lunch in my own room, not the Bali room, although I might sit there symbolically. What do you think, Jim? What are some of the things that you've done this year that you wouldn't mind doing more of? And how can people repeat some of the good things? How do you do your repurposing?
Well, one of the things I've really started to use a lot recently, especially to kind of do demos, is I'm using Camtasia Online, which is free. And it's really, in some aspects, it's like I'll call it a Loom competitor. I mean, Camtasia obviously has their own editing software as well, and Snagit, I love that for screen capturing, other things. But I'm using that to create these kind of quick walkthrough videos because it'll also show the cursor and stuff while I'm talking about what I'm doing. And so taking those short, not even sometimes 5-minute videos, and then writing an article about it, especially as new things pop up, and somewhat trying to stay focused in the video and Substack with video space. And so that's been one of the tools I use. And then of course, Substack, allows you to create clips as well. So those are really the ones I've been focusing on.
Okay, that's good. Well, I'm doing 2 shows a week until Christmas. The Monday night show in the US is called Repurpose 3030. And the Tuesday show is called the Repurpose Recap, for all those people that say, "Oh shit, I missed it," because they didn't get the memo. I'm just this is what happens. 2 days later, mate, I missed the show. Yep, I told you about it. I sent you an email. I've sent you 7 DMs. Where are you? Oh, I missed it. I forgot. Didn't get the memo. So I'm doing this on purpose. I know people forget. I know people get busy, and so I'm doing that. Merico, I might let you finish. You've got a show this week about repurposing from the point of view of AI. Is it the snippets that are highlights, or are you talking about AI generated podcasts as a thing, or both?
So we're drawing comparison to AI generated audio podcasts or video podcasts and comparing them to the human voice. And we got some articles and data to support the conversation. As much as everyone or the majority of people are getting on the AI bandwagon or train, data supports that when it comes to video content and audio content, that AI hasn't earned its place in that market yet. People, up in some some research papers and articles suggest that up to 90% of people still prefer human engagement.
So this is very,
so we'll dive.
because
Yeah,
it's
we're
so
gonna.
easy. We forget the fact that we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it. Sisters are doing it for themselves. I think that's the words, but it was done in a sort of a different tone. We're not doing it for us. We're doing it for our audience. And if our audience doesn't want it, then it really is pointless doing it. And so even though it is pretty funky. So what we're doing here is we're trying to get people to think about their most high performing content and seeing it through the lens of Substack. And I'm going to finish on a song which I think sums up what we're doing here, especially within the confines of the LinkedIn algorithm. And that is that I think that Substack has gone mainstream. I think that we're now at a point where most creators are turned on to it. Most of our buddies and most of our heroes are using it. It's got 50 million users. So I want you to contemplate that maybe moving forward and in 2026, Substack really is going to play a major part. So I've created a song. Created's probably the right word. I didn't write it. Substack is going mainstream. I think this is a nice song to end. And tomorrow we got the recap, just in case you couldn't make it today. And please share that with your buddies so that we can, learn as much as we can from each other. So I'll end on this one, and I think that's a nice way to wrap up.
Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. It started as a whisper, a spark in the feed. Creators find their voice and created light speed. We are scaling up without selling out. Gentle souls finding an audience without having to shout. It's still very early in these golden days. The crowd's not too loud and the tech will amaze. Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. The challenge is the balance to stay true and free. Hold that creator soul in the storming sea. 2025, the year we decide how far the wave goes, how wide the tide. Can we scale the mountain without losing the art? Every platform's heartbeat starts in the heart. Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. Substack is going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name. Feels like it's going mainstream. From a niche to a digital dream. Voices rise, breaking the frame. It's a new frontier with a familiar name.
Oh. Okay, so that was